I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! That's right. Wake up right freaking now. Get up immediately. Get up. It is that time of the week again. Man, this is so great to actually be live with you guys. I am John Graves III, founder of Garage Gym Life, and this is the way too early for a Friday morning show. It is way too early, but I'm going to be roughly this loud, perhaps louder, for the next 3 hours as we help you not only get your day started, but get your weekend kicked off the right way. Let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody in the chat. Let's begin with number one, my guy, Jared Martin. Shout out to you, Jared. Jared is a new member of the channel. Thank you so much for supporting Garage Gym Life. Jared's actually he's got one of our banners. He's got a best gym in town banner from us. And he's just been a cool dude. He's a member of our Discord. We'll be talking to him a little bit. We got something else from Jared a little bit later on in the show. But we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But just shout out to you, Jared. I want to say a huge shout out because Jared is a new He is a new member of the YouTube channel. You guys can also become a member of the YouTube channel. You want to click that join button that's in the bottom corner of the screen, and it's literally you can join for 99 cents a month, and that will put us that much closer to our goal of being not self-funded, but viewer funded, as opposed to being funded by brands. And that would be an awesome, awesome thing. Also, got to give a shout out to my guy, Terrell Suggs. Terrell is a strongman competitor, and this, I believe, is his first time on the channel. Not on the channel, but it's his first time checking out Way Too Early for a Friday morning show. So shout out to you, my guy. Thank you for being here. And my guy, Carlos has been here since 5:46 this morning. Shout out to you, Carlos. I'm glad you're doing okay. Carlos is in Texas, and they were hit pretty hard. So, praying for you guys down there in Texas. You without power, and Carlos said he said he's burning battery power, but he said it's hard to miss a show. So if I can encourage you in any way, kind of take your mind off of what you got going on down there, man, I'm going to do the best I can to do that for the next 3 hours. And shout out to my son, who is currently on the road. My oldest son, I got 4 of them. My oldest son, I call him the beginning of my strength. Shout out to James. He's driving right now. I actually was on the phone with him about 30 minutes or so ago. So shout out to you. Drive safe. I love you. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing what you do. Everybody who is watching the show for the first time, if you've not subscribed, please, number one, hit that like button. Number two, subscribe. I need your help. I'm trying to reach 50,000 subscribers. I'd like to do it this year. That's not going to happen if you don't help me out. Subscribing is free. So just go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, share this link or share the channel link at the very least. Share the channel link with someone who you think will enjoy our content, because that's how we grow. Really, word of mouth makes us grow a lot better than all of the fun, the fancy algorithm things. I'm not a huge believer in Instagram stories as a way to promote the channel, but hey, if you think that's going to work, take the link, share it on Instagram. Let people know however you want to let people know. Send a text message with our link. Let people know we got to grow this thing. This is a movement. I need you to help. I need your help. And now let's go ahead and talk about what is on today's show. All right. Oh, hold up. Got another channel member I need to shout out before I do that. Shout out to my guy, Joey Echeverria. Joey sat with me at Home Gym Con, and I got the notification that Joey is a channel member now. So Joey, thank you so much for becoming a channel member once again. I appreciate all you guys' support. Now, let's talk about what's on today's show. As always, we are going to shout out every time zone when it is that point. So when it is 6 a.m. in the Central Time Zone, I'm going to shout them out. I already shouted out East Coast, obviously, because that's where I am. All right, we lead the way. Then when it is 6 a.m. In the Mountain Time Zone, we're going to say good morning to them. And Then Pacific time, everybody on the West Coast, we're going to give California some love. And everybody else on the West Coast, tell them good morning once it's 6 a.m. for them. Now, in the first hour, we're going to do, that's when we're going to have news and other things, including a very special Recliner of Rage. I know that's the favorite segment. Y'all look, you guys are entertained by my pain. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to let you guys check out a brand new Recliner of Rage. And then in the second hour, that's at 7:05 a.m., we're going to have Don from ADEX Clubs and Maces. He's going to come on. He's going to talk about his experience at Home Gym Con, as well as some other stuff, some exciting stuff that's going on with his brand. And I cannot wait to talk to him. This is his second time on the show. And I love it when guests enjoy the show enough to want to come back, right? It's pretty cool when they want to come back. So Don's going to be at 7:05. Then at 8 a.m., we got someone who's never been on the channel before, Mike from Hybrid Resistance YouTube channel. I saw him at Home Gym Con, but I didn't get to talk to him. So we actually were able to connect, and he is going to be my guest at the 8:05 hour. Mike has been killing it on YouTube. He's got about 48,000 subscribers, I believe. So you guys look forward to that. All right, let's see if anybody else jumped in the chat. Let's see. It's about, all right, here we go with the fresh hate. Eric Echoes talking about it's about time I woke up. You've been waiting for hours. Hey, Eric, I appreciate that you think I'm worth waiting for. The good things come to those who wait. This show is a good thing. All right. So thank you for being here. I think you just don't want me to say that I woke you up. So that's what I feel like it is. In fact, you ought to be saying thank you for keeping you entertained last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago when you were driving like 7 hours, Eric, and we kept you entertained for at least 3.5 of those 7 hours. All right. Carlos says Central Time Zone in the building against all odds. My man, I know the feeling. I understand, man. You're in the heat of it. But you know what though? I do have a question. You guys have power outages fairly regularly. Either you have a hurricane or some sort of tropical storm. You all even had an ice storm. Why don't you have some sort of solar generator? They got that junk. I know those things exist. Hang on a second, man. I know you can't have a diesel or gas power generator because you live in an apartment, but solar generator for home. Yes, I know they're on there. Patriot Supply. I see the junk on the news all the time, especially if I'm up late working. Yeah, you need to hit up like, hey, this is not sponsored. Patriot Supply, though, if you need to know how to send me some money, I'm happy to provide that information. I know they're not cheap. I know Carlos says he doesn't have a solar generator because they're not cheap. Of course they're not cheap, Carlos. But guess what? As much as y'all's power goes out, you would have paid for it it would have paid for itself by now. I don't know if you are unless your building is on generator, but I'm assuming it's not, because if it was, you wouldn't be on battery power with your cell phone. You're probably going outside charging your phone with your car battery. So I refuse to believe that that's how you're charging up the hot water heater to take a hot shower. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to say. I'm just Carlos. Now he's gonna say, well, it's one every few years. Okay. So when was the ice storm, Carlos? And then when was the last tropical storm before that? Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? If it happens every 2 years, that's enough for you to plan for it. Like, oh, well, so after this one's over, set your money aside, because in 2 years, you're going to need your solar generator, right? I'm trying to help you, Carlos. I'm trying. See, there you go. You know what? I don't feel sorry for you anymore, Carlos. You deserve those cold showers because you should have known after the last event, hey, I need to set my money aside and get myself a solar power generator, and then you be all good right now. I don't feel sorry. I changed my mind. I don't feel sorry for you anymore. And in fact, wait a minute, it's hot in Texas. Have you never heard of you can get a camp shower, right? Get a camp shower, stick that mug on your balcony, and the sun will heat it up. You can take a hot shower. You know what, Carlos, you are uncoachable on purpose. I can't help you. I can't help him. I can't. Y'all see how he is. I cannot help this dude. You try to help him, you cannot help him. Let's just move. I got to move on, man. Time for news and other things. All right, so news and other things. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. It is summertime and the summer sales are coming fast and furious. I saw that the what's that bar from Bells of Steel, the one with the rings, the training bar. Now I literally just I had the name of the bar, but they just brought this bar out. It's like this. I think it's actually called. It might be called the 7 Ring Bar. They just came out with it. Let's see, what is this thing called? The Hydra. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's the Hydra 7 Ring Bar. They're still doing, I guess, pre-orders because they said it ships by August 30th. But that is now out. I just saw a thing. I get the Bells of Steel newsletter, and that was one of the things that they were talking about. It's coming out. I actually am curious to hear from you guys. How do you find out about sales, especially like in the summertime? Yeah, Jared, it's the Hydra 7 Ring Bar. That's correct. Like, how do you guys hear about them? I mean, obviously, if you live near one of those places, you can just go by it. Like, if you live in Pennsylvania, you can just drive past the Rep Fitness place, whenever, as long as you got gas in your car. But do you guys like to sign up for newsletters, or do you feel like that clogs up your email inbox too much? I'm just curious, like, what you guys do. I know that I'm signed up for the Fringe Sport, the AdMat, the Bells of Steel. I was signed up for the Rep Fitness newsletter, but I'm not signed up for that anymore. No particular reason. I just basically, if I want to, I usually will just go visit their website on purpose if I want to check in with them. Or else they do Rep does a good job of posting on Instagram, letting people know what they got going on. So I'm just curious. Put in the comments, like, or in the live, if you're watching on replay. And as a reminder, you guys can access this show on audio. You can go to podbean.com if you would like to listen to the replay version of this. It is available after the live show is over. So if you miss part of this and you want to listen to it on the way home as you're driving home from work, you can go to podbean.com, and this episode will be available as a replay. And of course, it's also going to be available as replay here on YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube on replay, go ahead and put in the comments where you normally like to find out about sales, whether you get newsletters. And if you're watching live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go ahead and throw it in the live chat and let me know where you like to how you like to find out about sales. Because the reason I'm asking is because I'm curious about everybody's always talking about like the open rate, like a 30% open rate is good. And I'm just curious from a business perspective, like, how do you guys feel about getting emails in your inbox that tell you specifically about sales? I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to start doing it. I'm actually just curious because I'm trying to, I'm watching the market as somebody who comments on it. So I'm curious. This will be my unscientific poll. Now, and in fact, I mentioned Pennsylvania. If you live in Pennsylvania and Rep Fitness, you guys may already know, but Rob from Vintage Weights recently toured there. He went to their facility. He did a tour there. He said he's going to drop some video. He's going to drop a video of the tour, but he's actually coming on next week. So he'll be with us next week, and he's going to give us his trip report, kind of like what Ashley did. She gave a report about when she went to Force USA. So I'm going to get Rob to give us a report about what it was like for him, what jumped out to him when he went to visit Rep Fitness. All right. So Jared said a lot of the equipment reviewers share stories when sales are going, and then you do like signing up for the emails. And I'll tell you this. A lot of times, some equipment reviewers, they find out stuff because they basically just pester the company, right? They'll call them up. I mean, anybody can do it. You just got to have the time in your day to say, hey, I'm just going to call such and such company to ask them about XYZ product that they mentioned that I heard might be coming out. And depending on, how willing they are to tell you, they'll tell you. So there's not anything like special about what we do. It does help, obviously, if you have like the visibility of somebody like Gluck's Gym, right? Adrian Gluck calls up the Bells of Steel. They're more likely to talk to him. Or Kyle from Kaizen DIY, who was on a couple of weeks ago. He's on here a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes, if he calls a company, a lot of times they're willing to talk to him. And by the way, if you guys did not see his most recent Do You Even Lift Bro podcast, you need to check it out. He gives an update to the whole situation with PRX, and he did so, and he kind of goes into a little bit more detail than he did when he was on the show with us. When he was on the show with us here, he just said that that talks were going well, but he goes into a little bit more detail on his own podcast because he's had obviously a little bit more time for the situation to develop. And I will say, I don't want to spoil it, but I will say that I am pleased with how PRX seems to be seems to be handling things. So that's really cool. Now let's go to what have I reviewed lately. I promised you guys that I was going to start letting you guys know about our upcoming videos and things like that. And I haven't really done as good a job about that as I should. So I'll just tell you that what I have reviewed lately, in case you haven't seen it, is the Marcy. This thing's got such a long name. The Marcy STB 98005. And what they prefer for you to, they prefer for you to call it, not that. They want you to call it the STB 98005 by Marcy. And then the actual, look, let me just pull it up here. This is the actual name on their website. All right. If you go to their website, this is the actual name of this device. Hang on a second. Let me share my screen. We'll get rid of this. Share screen. So when you go to their website, this is how it pulls up. Okay. The Monster Cage Power Rack Steel Body STB 98005. That is such a long name. And if you watch the video, you'll have the pleasure, I guess, of hearing me have to say that entire thing I say it twice, I think, in the video before I finally said I'm not saying it. I literally say, I said, I'm not saying that entire thing again. It's way too long, and I just started calling it the STB. But anyway, that's what I think it's a decent rack, man. It's not something I would buy for myself right now, but I've been, I'm like 20 plus years into being a home gym owner. But if you're starting out, I recommend it, especially if you're starting out and you have kids. I don't mean like little kids. I'm talking about like if you got kids in like middle school or high school, they're playing like youth sports, especially youth football. That would be a rack that I would get, because it just gave me that same feel of like the power cages you see in like college, in high school weight rooms, and it's 14 gauge steel, but it just feels a lot more durable. And I actually reached out to my guy David at Gorilla Strength, not to ask him about that rack specifically, but we were just talking about the gauges of steel, and he said something that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to, and that is, just because you get two different racks and they're both 14 gauge steel doesn't mean that they're both equally as strong, because what you want is a rack that is made out of structural steel. So it's got to be made out of the same steel that you might use to build a building or girders for a bridge or something, right? And 14 gauge steel of that kind of steel is better. And Eric, you could probably shed some light on it too, because of what you do. But then you've also got lower quality steel that's like, maybe you want to use it to, I don't know, make a bicycle or something, right? So you don't want your power rack made out of that. So the gauge of steel isn't the only thing. Speaking of Eric, he said the affiliates take care of letting him know about sales. Well, Mr. Look at what a flex. That's what happens when you become a product inventor, I guess. Then you start flexing your insider knowledge. Look at you. Carlos said he saw the Marcy video, thought about picking it up. It's too tall for his place. Yeah, man. That's actually why I liked it for not for mine, but for a home gym setup like mine, because the thing that annoys me, and I was actually just over at Freedom Fitness Equipment with Ashton, went up there for a business trip to kind of talk to him and do some planning. But anyway, while I was there, I was checking out some of the racks he's got. And the thing that I don't like about a lot of the racks, that even if I think that they're a great rack otherwise, like the like the Body Solid GPR 400, for example, I think it's a great rack, but it's too short. It's too short. Now it does have a multi-grip pull-up bar that is elevated, so that's nice. So it nudges it up a little bit, but I would still have to bend my legs. I'm not tall. I'm like 5'9.5", right? All of my sons are taller than me. All right. I guess that's how it goes though. But I just don't like those short racks, right? Now, if your ceiling is short, I get it, but I just like racks. I think I was looking for an option for first-time home gym owners who were in a garage like I was when I got my first power rack. I was in a garage, and so it would have fit in. I had a shed gym power rack. A taller power rack would have fit in that shed as well. So it just annoys me that you have so many manufacturers who think home gym equals basement. You know what I mean? I think you need to have options, and that's just something that I think. And in fact, somebody gave me heat on Instagram. Let me see something here. So I post the video. I post the picture talking about how much I like the rack, right? And in their defense now, Instagram didn't give me the option. They're supposed to give you an option, or you may not know, but if you list yourself as content creator, they give you an option to say whether something's a sponsored post or not. And they did not give me that option. So I just went ahead and I did a thing where I did a collaboration with Marcy Fitness. And that may have actually been why they didn't give me the option to sponsor posts. But in any case, this dude, I'm gonna go ahead and put him out there on display, right? Mostly because I just am. And he may be a cool dude in every other way possible, but this dude was giving me the blues. It's like an example of what Mike Tyson says, like people feel comfortable saying junk on the internet that they wouldn't say to you in person. So he says the maximum weight on a storage post is only 100 pounds. And that's another reason why I'm going into it now. He said, you should probably note this is a paid ad, because I want to say that, yes, he is correct. It should say that it was a sponsored post, because I did get paid to put that up there. Full disclosure, right? So what I ended up doing was editing the post and literally just typing at the top, sponsored post, because I was waiting for Instagram to give me that option, and they didn't. Anyway, this dude said there's a 500-pound capacity on the safeties. He said this thing is not the best. I'm going to highlight, this thing is not the best investment starting out, because you're just going to have to replace it with something from Rogue, Rep, Sorinex, Stray Dog, Titan, or Elite FTS. All right. And so I said, well, it's not giving me an option to label as a sponsor post. I disagree with your assessment about it as a beginner rack, because I said, you're assuming everybody has the budget for one of the racks you mentioned. I do agree that with the exception of Titan, those racks are superior, but they're outside the budget of many first-time home gym owners, right? Now, that would have been a good place to just let it go. But no, he came back with this. The PR 1000 is half the price. It's $400 of the rack you're displaying. The Marcy, as you guys saw, is like 900 and change, if you add shipping, whatever. And he said the PR 4000 starts at $799. Key phrase, starts at. All right. Now, I'm not going to go back through the entire thing that I did, but it's basically, if you go to the PR 4000, first of all, the PR 1000 is a short rack. So it's not apples to apples. It's 83 inches tall. The Marcy is like 95 inches tall. All right. So not apples to apples. But then And I already told you guys I was looking for something that was taller to recommend. Then the second thing is the PR 4000 starts at $799, but that's the naked rack. As soon as you start adding attachments to even make it similar to what the Marcy is, you are going to be over $1,000, right? It doesn't take long to get it over $1,000. So I was like, why is this dude just on my back? I'm like, why is this dude on? I mean, look, Carlos, I know trolls are going to troll. That doesn't make, to be honest with you, it doesn't make me upset that from a certain perspective, because engagement is engagement. So by trolling me, he actually increased the engagement on the post, which means that it was easier. It's going to be easier for me to get money for another sponsor post from another brand. So he's actually helping me out, even if he doesn't realize it. But I will. But so that doesn't bother me, right? But I'm just gonna say that just straight up, the fact of the matter is, my man said, so then he said, I'm not assuming, he said Titan T3 is around 600 and it's a better rack than this. So first of all, I don't know if he's even seen a Marcy in person, right? But then also, I'm going to tell you right now that I don't trust Titan's quality control. It's not that they don't make good products. I think they make great products. It's just that those great products are most likely to be on the showroom floor, and it's hit or miss about whether you're actually going to receive one of those great products when they ship it to you, because they don't have good quality control. I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. My brother went to somebody's gym. He works out at home. Went to somebody's home gym. They had a Titan trap bar, open trap bar. He used it, liked it. And while standing at the person's place, he's like, what brand is this? Which one is it? The guy showed him the exact one to get. He said, this is the one I ordered. He ordered it from my man's house. So there wasn't a mistake. His shows up and it's off center, right? And he didn't realize that it was off center until he went to put it down, and he just put it straight. He picked it up, first workout with it, picks it up, and he goes to put it down, and it ends up, the plates come down on his foot because it was slightly, the specs were off. I know multiple people who said they ordered something from Titan. The thing shows up without all of the bolts. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, but Titan's real good about if you call them and let them know that a bolt is missing, they'll send you a replacement bolt. Yeah, that's great. But how about sending me all the stuff I already paid you for when you send the rest of it? So I don't have to wait for my freaking product. I don't have to wait to use this thing that I paid you all that money for. That's what irritates me. It's that kind of garbage, right? Like, don't shout out some garbage and tell me, don't shout out garbage and tell me that it's superior to something that you probably haven't even put your hands on. You're just repeating junk that you've heard other people say. You're telling me your friends' opinions. So whatever. Anyway, moving on. I think that we are now in a great place for y'all's favorite segment, which is, it's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
100% I'm not happy. I got fresh venom to spit every single week. But today is a special day. And no, it's not our anniversary. All right. But today is a special day because we've got our first special guest. Okay. That's correct. Today I've opened up. You go to somebody's house, you don't sit in another man's chair. Well, today I'm giving up the spot in the Recliner of Rage because I had a friend of the show reach out to me and he's not happy. And so as a result, I said, you know what, man, I'm going to back off. I'm going to have a seat. Have a seat. This is a safe space to unleash your feelings. Okay. So here is the get. So Jared told me he's mad and let's find out why Jared Martin is not happy.
Hey, what's the latest thing you ordered for the home gym?
I got a full set of plates. Somebody shipped them to me.
Which courier handle most of the packages?
It was UPS.
Okay, first of all, let's stop right there. I'm not going to keep doing this, but I want y'all to pay attention to Jared's foot. All right, you can tell this is an unhappy person because his foot is twitching. His foot is twitching as he's talking. This dude is upset. You know what? In fact, you know what? Let's just start it off. I'm going to back off. I'm going to back off, and I'm going to just let you go uninterrupted by me, okay? So let's start over, Jared. I didn't mean to make it worse by interrupting you. Go ahead.
Hey, what's the latest thing you ordered for the home gym?
I got a full set of plates. Somebody shipped them to me.
Which courier handle most of the packages?
It was UPS.
How many packages did they handle?
6.
And did they all get delivered on one day?
No.
2 days?
No.
3 days?
3 days.
Were they 3 consecutive days?
No.
How many minutes and hours do you think you spent, thinking about that?
I spent a lot of time tracking these packages.
So what days did you receive the packages?
I received 4 packages on Saturday, 1 package on Monday, last package Wednesday.
And did UPS receive all the packages at the same time and at the same UPS location?
Oh yeah?
And how did that make you feel?
Just fills me with confusion and rage.
Did y'all see? First of all, shout out to Jared's wife, Lindsay. Okay, but Lindsay, I'm gonna just tell you something. The laughing did not help. Okay, that could have been the thing that triggered him. And next thing you know, he's down at UPS getting arrested. Okay, so there's nothing like a man's wife to get him in trouble. I remember a story. There was a guy a few years ago when they first tightened up the TSA requirements for getting on an airplane, and this dude, it was on the radio. They said this dude got arrested at the airport with a gun, and when they asked him why he took a gun, the police were like, "Why'd you take a gun to the airport, man?" He said, "Because I was arguing with my wife, trying to let her know that you could still get a gun through the airport security." So he literally goes through airport security, then turns around and says, "Hey guys, I have a firearm, and this is how I got it in here, and I just want to let y'all know." But so yes, he ended up going to court. He still got locked up. All right. But he went through all that. Drove from, I believe he was from Cleveland, Tennessee. So he drove over 2 hours to the Atlanta airport just to get locked up because he got an argument with his wife. So all I'm telling you is, Lindsay, please, you can see your husband's in pain. Look, I'm gonna show y'all again. Look at this. Look at this man's foot.
How many packages did they handle?
This is the foot
6.
of a man who is
And
unhappy.
did they all get delivered on one day?
No.
2 days?
No.
3 days?
Look at it.
3 days.
Every
Were
time
they
she asks
3
him questions, his
consecutive
foot
days?
speeds up.
No.
How many minutes and
You see
hours
it?
do you think you spent?
You see his nostrils flare right there? His nostril just flared when he said no. Every time he says no, his nostrils flare. That dude is
Thinking
upset.
about that.
I spent a lot of time tracking these packages.
So
Okay, that was what I'm talking about. See how she laughed? That was an angry blink right there. Jared, dude, I'm not going to laugh at you. Okay, I'm not laughing. First of all, y'all know I'm always mad every week about something that's going wrong. But I want you to know that I reserve space. I reserve some space in my rage. Okay, as a friend, I always reserve space in my heart to be mad at whatever my friends are mad at. Okay, so if you're mad at UPS, Jared, I'm mad at them too. Okay. Oh God, here it goes. There's always one. Here goes a UPS apologist. Go ahead, Eric. Eric says just because they all showed up to UPS on the same day doesn't mean they were unloaded from the truck at the same time, which means they end up on different trailers with different drivers. That is true. And I also know that carriers will on purpose ship packages on different trucks because that's how it's how they save fuel, because they don't care about the stuff getting to your house the same day. They're like, oh well, this box is shaped like that box, so they're playing Tetris in the back of the truck. And so as a result, they're shipping in such a way so that they can get the maximum number of packages on the truck so that they can save fuel, right? And if that means they're gonna leave 3 of your packages behind and leave you with not all of your stuff that you paid for, because you bought it all on the same day, right? They don't care about that. I don't care. Jared is my boy. Jared is a friend of the channel. Jared is supporting the channel, and I'm supporting Jared. I'm mad too. And if you're a friend of the channel, you need to be mad with Jared. We're all mad at UPS right now. Eric, I understand. Look, I worked at UPS too, actually. I didn't work for that as long as you guys did. I worked at UPS for oh man, it wasn't even a full year because I ended up moving. It was in California. I worked the hub, and then I moved to Tennessee, and they told me I was gonna have to reapply, and I was like, man, I ain't going through all that to start over at the bottom. Nah, I ain't doing all that because I was working my way to loader, so I started out as unloader like everybody else, and I was like, man, this is gonna reset me. I'm right back at the bottom. Nah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I get it, and I understand. I do understand the plight of the carriers. I'm just saying, I'm on Jared's side, okay? Said the only time it changes is if it becomes too heavy. I am on Jared. Jared, you see who your friends are, right? Thank you. There you go. That Eric said, we don't need your words and logic right now. Just let me have. Thank you. Can you just let a man be mad? His wife is laughing at him. Okay, his wife's laughing at his pain. You over here diagramming his sentences and putting equations on the board. We don't care. We don't care, Eric. You take your logic elsewhere. We just want to be mad at UPS. Hey, look, let me scroll up here. Where's my man at? Where's my man at? Where's my Frank Zen? Okay, he said, King Mike. Frank Zen, appreciate you joining the show. This is your first time watching. Here's the rules. When somebody on the show is mad, we all mad with him, okay? Because that's what loyalty means. We all mad. Carlos, you're mad. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Carlos, I'm mad. Eric said he's in the recliner of reason. We don't have a recliner of reason, Carlos. We don't have that. You might have a hammock of reason, but we ain't got no recliner of reason, okay? We're all, if one's mad, we all mad, okay? And you know what? If one's mad, we all mad, and we stay mad till that one's not mad anymore. Oh, there you go. Support from Carp, my man. Coach Carp said, I understand, Jared. I got RIT-Fit packages on 7 different days, 7 different days. All right? He's got over 10 days and 9 packages. I don't even understand the math right there. He said 7 different days over 10 days and 9 packages. Carp is so mad, he just time traveled within that sentence, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Frank Zen, that my man. There you go. We mad. We are all mad. There you go. Everybody except there we go. Joyce, are you in the dang hammock of reason? No, that's the bean. Are you in the beanbag chair of reason next to Eric? She said, good morning. I worked at UPS for 30 days offloading. The only priority is to max out the space, not just the weight. Said people need to be informed about potential shipping problems. Yes, just let people know, hey, that's going to be a problem. Because they don't care about telling you. You're like, oh, hold up, I should have 7 packages. There's only 2 here. And that's assuming they don't throw it off the truck. Of course, FedEx does that too. So I can't just say it's UPS. In all fairness, FedEx throws it too. And I've had the Postal Service throw packages as well. So I'm not singling out UPS for that. But I'm just saying, they'll drive right off, leave 2 packages when you expecting 5, right? And then you call them, and they're like, oh, well, it'll probably, it's on its way. No, I want to hear it's on its way. Where is it? I want to know its exact location at this moment. Carlos said he said, get out of here with that reason. Yeah, I'm telling you, Eric is in the beanbag chair of reason. We ain't got time for that. Joyce is mad. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Standing ovation for Joyce. There you go. Be mad, Joyce. That's what I'm talking about. You know the rules. If one mad, we all mad, and we stay mad till that one's not mad anymore. I'm here. You got me yelling. I'm blowing out the microphone. I apologize to those of y'all who are listening to this on audio. I promise it's not going to be like the audio ain't going to be like this the whole time. But Eric is in the dang beanbag chair reason over here, and he's triggering me on behalf of Jared. Carp said it like, see now, hey look, so now all the anger and frustration that shipping carriers is coming out. That's what this is a safe space. Carp said like it took over a week to get them all spread out over an hour to get them all. It was spread out over a week and a half. He said very frustrating if the items have multiple boxes. Exactly, they need to be put together. So you basically got all these boxes just sitting there. They're in the way. You can't put them together. It's just annoying. Eric says, so the last package he got was the 2.5. So those are classified as small. There he goes. You know who you sound right now. You in here, you sound like Steve Urkel. Actually, so I'm gonna read this normally, but in my head, Eric, I just want you to know that your comment is being read in the Steve Urkel voice. All right. So the last package you got was a 2.5. So those are classified as small, and they get sorted to a different location. Unfortunately, that's probably why the last one was so late. Once again, tell him, Carlos, because we're not happy. He said that's no fun. Carp is frustrated. See that? Jared is now mad on behalf of Carp because that's how it works. If one's mad, then we all mad, and we're gonna stay mad until that one's not mad anymore. Said actually this is interesting. All the smalls get sorted in big nylon bags to prevent loss and damage so they don't go somewhere else. Here's the thought. You could put them on a pallet, but they won't do that because that's going to cut down on how much they can ship in that truck, right? But they could put everything on a pallet so that everything that's going to that customer is on that same pallet. And then you tape it like you weaving an Indian blanket. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what? Unanimously, I realize that Eric is in the beanbag of rage, but we're not going to count his vote. I'm sorry, he's in the beanbag of reason. We're not going to count Eric's vote. Jared, we have heard your cry. We have heard your pain. And as a result, every one of us is in.
It's the recliner of rage. It's the recliner of rage, because he's not happy.
And that's another reason why I am a big fan of Freedom Fitness Equipment, because every time they ship the stuff to you, they ship it. They have their own carriers. So the last thing that they shipped to me, they had their own carrier. It actually showed up ahead of time. It was all on the same truck. They brought it, they put it together. And so I'm a huge fan. If you want to get your stuff to outfitted for your home gym and you don't want to be in the recliner of rage, hit up my guy Ashton at 980-216-4860. Just go to freedomfitnessequipment.com. He'll hook you up. You'll have the best gym in town right there in your house in no time. Speaking of you can't deliver. Well, Joyce said you can't deliver pallets to residential areas. I got a pallet. So I live in a subdivision, and I've gotten pallets before. Now, maybe Georgia's just full of loose cannons, which is possible because we don't really care how y'all do things up north. But I have gotten pallets. And I do have a business address, so that might be the other factor. There you go, Michael. There you go. Michael said he's pissed. He said he doesn't have a recliner, so he's listening from the seething sofa. So Michael's mad. That's the kind of solidarity I expect. And I want y'all to know too, by the way, that if you have something that you want to be in the recliner rage about, all you gotta do is hit me up on Instagram at Garage Gym Life on Instagram and just tell me, share your pain with me, and then we'll work out how you can get the video and you can be, and we'll put you here, Recliner of Rage, because I'm opening up. I'm officially making the Recliner of Rage available to all of you. So if you got something that's making you mad, that's home gym related, don't send me a video because your toaster stopped working, okay? Unless you were trying to make a post-workout protein waffle. Don't send me nothing about your microwave ain't working, you know what I mean? Send me something that's home gym related. But the Recliner of Rage is open to, you know what? Eric, when you get mad about something, we're better than that. We're better than the dang beanbag of reason you've been showing today. And when you are in a recliner rage about something, I'm going to let you come in here and you can deliver your rage and put it in front of the group, and we'll all be mad on your behalf as well. Georgia hasn't been the same since the visit from, hey, look, I realize they claim the devil came down to Georgia, but I swear this is God's country, all right? We send him packing like Aunt Esther. High glory, all right? Let's see here. Eric said, normally if you use somebody like Arnold Carriers, they have lift gates on the back of their trucks so they can drop pallets in the residential area because most people don't have a forklift or pallet jack. So I don't have a forklift or pallet jack either. But basically what I did was we just took it off the, because it's still just boxes. So we took it off the pallet and just carried the boxes individually into the garage. But all my stuff was together. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. He said RL carriers. Okay, yeah, I got you. Now I don't know. So I mentioned Freedom Fitness Equipment, right? And I was able to go there this past week, and that was had a really good time. I was able to talk to Ashton. We got some exciting stuff going on, but I'm not sure. Are you guys so I got my cousin staying here with us, right? My cousin Dresmond stays with us now. And matter of fact, I hear him downstairs in my gym right now. And I told that dude to be quiet because I was up here doing the show. Hang on. I installed a security camera and you'll see why. Let's check in on Dresmond right now.
That's kind of
Dresmond!
powerful
Hey, what? Dresmond. Hey, man. I told you, wear a shirt when you use my bench. Dresmond! Dresmond, are you ignoring me? Are you? Okay, I'll be quiet. Safety first. I don't want to distract him while he's benching. He's using, okay, looks like he's using my 45-pound axle bar from Gorilla Strength. So, good choice, good choice.
She should be alerting the council.
But, okay, good. Dresmond, I know you hear me. Hey, man. Dresmond, why, hey, don't you flick your hair at me. Dresmond. I knew you could hear me. I see you looking at me. Dresmond, why you, put your shirt. Dresmond. Did he just, Dresmond, I swear, you better not have cut the security camera off. Dresmond. Dresmond. I swear. Okay, y'all see what I'm dealing with, man? The dude doesn't talk to me, right? He doesn't talk to me. All right. You say junk to him and he ignores me. You say junk to him. You try to have a conversation. He ignores me. Number one, he's staying here rent free. Okay. That's the frustrating thing. But I should have known that because he had that. I knew I was going to have problems with him because I said, I told you I went to Freedom Fitness. I said, okay, well, Dresmond just came to the States. I'm going to take him around. I'm showing him around. I say, man, you come with me to Freedom Fitness. It's in North Carolina. Plus, that way I don't have to ride by myself. He's in the car. He's a problem in the car. Okay. And then this is what happened when we actually get to freaking North Carolina to meet Ashton. Okay. I can't make this up.
Here. Yeah, welcome to North Carolina.
Hey, what's up, Ashton? Hey,
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, this is my cousin Dresmond. Hey, Dresmond, stop it. I know we're in North Carolina, but you gotta stop. Take your shirt off, twist around your head, and spin like a helicopter. Look what he says to me. What? I know what the song says, but do you see anybody else taking a shirt off, twisting around their head, and spinning like a helicopter? What? Y'all see the junk he starts, man? That's Ashton. Ashton is normally a normal person, but all it took was 5 seconds with Dresmond, and he'll get mad if you call him Desmond too. All right, my name is. He wrote it on the board, Dresmond, Dresmond. Okay, great, whatever, man. All right, my wife refuses to call him that. She'll call him Desmond. She don't care. But I'm just saying, the fact of the matter is, he was around Ashton for 5 seconds. 5 freaking seconds, and Ashton got his shirt off. I bet you Ashton didn't even know about P.D. Pablo before that moment. All right, he's just. Anyway, All right, hey, I know you can hear me. I know you better either put a shirt on or wipe my dang bench off before you come upstairs and put the weights away. Try to be nice to people, man. You try to be nice to people. See, y'all see what I go through? Y'all see what I go through? And this is all the time. Carb, you're not helping. Come on and raise up. Oh, God. All right, hey, at least you know what? I appreciate that. You made me laugh, Carp. You made me laugh, man. For those of you who just listen to the audio version, you need to come back and check out the video version so you can see what I go through with freaking Dresmond, okay? But I will say this for Dresmond. That dude is fearless, okay? All right? He is fearless. Y'all saw he got no problem taking the shirt off in a strange place, and he don't care. The dude is fearless. So if I had 1 ounce of that, that's 1/10 of that confidence, I'd probably take over the world. Carlos said it's too hot for this. Dude, I'm in pain here. You laughing at my Jared? Jared, I'm glad I could get you to laugh. I'm glad I got you to laugh, Jared. But I feel like you're laughing at my pain. So I don't know how to feel about that at this moment. Anyway. All right. So we're going to be, we got about 10 minutes, and then we're going to be joined by, Mike from Hybrid Resistance. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you just say, I got dread sweat on my bench? That is also not helpful. That's also not helpful. Okay. That's not helpful. That's horrible. That's horrible. Anyway, so let's see here. We're gonna be joined by Mike from Hybrid Resistance, as well as Don from ADEX Clubs. They'll be coming up in a few minutes. But I do know you guys want to check out the tales from my inbox. All right. Or I guess not. Maybe y'all just want to keep on talking about Dresmond and what he's doing to me. Said perhaps that's why he came into my life, to give me to help me learn how to be confident like that. Okay. I'll accept that. But he got to survive to teach me that confidence first. Okay. I'm telling you, Dresmond he's pressing all the right buttons. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Okay. He's pressing the button that activates my hand speed. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. You press this button and it activates my hand speed. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to get into it. I'm just telling you that that's the button that activates my hand speed. Carp said he wants me to ask Mike. Okay. I will start that question, and that's going to be something that we ask right there. Definitely. Okay. Let me see here. So I do not see. Let me go ahead and let me make sure I got these guys all set up and ready to go. Okay, so yeah, Mike's coming on at 8. So like I said, Mike's gonna be coming on at 8:05, and Don's should be coming on in the next few minutes. Don from ADEX Clubs. See. Okay. Carlos said I should put Dresmond in the butterfly suit. First of all, that would require me to own a butterfly suit, which I don't and won't. Number 3. Are we at 3 yet? Hold up. I said, first of all, then okay. So we're on 2. Let's go back to 2. All right. Let's go back to 2. How you gonna let me? I lost count from 2 to 3. That's horrible. All right. So number 2, you think those dreads could get through the neck hole of a butterfly suit? I don't feel like that's possible. So that's it. My man Mike. My man Matt. Tattoo saying, what's up? You know what? You reminded me of something that we're going to discuss a little bit later on in the show, because I just discovered a guy, I'm going to make the recommendation about YouTube channels or whatever and let you guys know what I'm watching. There is a guy, you need to subscribe. Everybody needs to subscribe to him. I'll go ahead and I'll tell you his information right now. Go ahead while you guys are waiting. Check out the Old Man Strength YouTube channel when this show is over. Old Man Strength on YouTube. He has a cool channel, and Carlos, for anybody who's familiar with the old TV show, anybody who's familiar with the old TV show Living Single, you remember what what's his name used to wear the hats or whatever, right? Not Overton, the other dude. Kyle from Living Single, the hats he used to wear, right? Those fedoras. Okay. Now picture DL Hughley, a little bit darker, wearing that, but muscular and with a British accent. There you go. That's what the Old Man Strength YouTube channel immediately reminded me of. All right. Carp said, I don't need a butterfly suit. I got my own helicopter. That's a PD Pablo reference. I got that. Y'all gonna make you gonna make Dresmond suffer. You're gonna make him suffer. Let's go ahead, and while we wait for Don, let's hit up the tales from my inbox. So it's been a minute since I told you guys about the last, email collaboration. Let's use the word opportunities, but we're going to use them very loosely. The last collaboration opportunities, I've been getting them. We've been running out of time in the show, and so I haven't been able to tell you guys about them. So recently, I had someone reach out to me with again, this is using the term very, very loosely. And it is an opportunity to promote, I guess, a thing. What do they call it? They call it a partnership opportunity. Yeah, a partnership opportunity. And it is for something. I'm sorry. I'm scared to actually even tell y'all what the thing is called, because I know how y'all are, but it's called the Power Pump. I'm not making this up. It's a collaboration opportunity with, I guess that's pronounced Tusains, promote the innovative Power Pump. Now, this is hi, whatever, somebody who claims the name is Eva. They said they're reaching out from Tusains, a brand I've never heard of, and yet she says this is a trusted brand known for developing home fitness equipment. Known by who? I guess if your neighbors knew about it, that counts as known, but I've never heard of Tusains. But anyway, they said, we've been captivated by your consistently engaging content. Okay, so they're buttering you up, right? That's when you know something's about to go wrong. And we are thrilled about the possibility of collaborating with you to promote our groundbreaking new product, the Power Pump. So there's a link, but I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, I did not click that link because I don't know what a Power Pump actually is, and nothing about the name makes me want to click on that link. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? This is a family show, but I'm just saying I have zero desire to find out what a Power Pump actually is or what it does. And also, I don't want to screw up my algorithm, because it's bad enough that, hold on, where's my phone? Because your phone be listening to you, right? So do not start sending me junk about power pumps. Do not. I'm telling my phone right. Do not. Okay. So yeah, I just got a text message from there. Let me message Don. Let him know we're waiting on him. Oh, there he is. Cancel that text message I was just about to send to Donnie Pizza. But anyway, let me finish with what I was saying about the Power Pump. I am not, number one, I'm not clicking that link. That just screams out spam to me, okay? That looks like an invite to have gremlins take over your computer. So we're not doing that. Number two, or B, if you want to go alphabetically, I also don't want to click on it because I don't want to screw up my algorithm. And then the next item is, I don't know what a Power Pump is. So in case you were wondering, I surely did not accept this opportunity. Okay. I did not accept this opportunity. That may be my fault. I may have just turned down the thing that would have made me, well, I bet it would have made me go viral. All right. But I'm not trying to start that kind of channel. but that may have been my big break, and I just walk right past it. That may have been the winning lottery ticket, but I just don't feel confident about something called the power pump being something that I need to involve in my life. Okay, y'all understand what I'm trying to say? So that is this week's tale from my inbox. And I also have to say, who thinks I'm a good fit for this? This is filed under the same section of people that emailed me asking me if I wanted to promote a hair dryer. I'm just going to stop and wait. Because what exactly am I supposed to use a hair dryer on? My armpits? My eyebrows? Who thinks I'm the right fit for this? Whatever. Anyway, with all that being said, shout out to the Central Time Zone. I know some of you guys are already here from Central Time Zone. You've been in the chat. You've been active with us. Appreciate you guys being here. This is the Way Too Early for a Friday Morning Show. If this is your first time checking out the show, please hit that like button for me. Number 2, you want to hit subscribe because we are trying to help get to 50,000 subscribers, and I need your help to do it. Won't happen if you don't hit that subscribe button. Beauty of it though, subscribing is free. If you've already subscribed, go ahead and share the link with somebody else who you think would enjoy this content and would love to have some good fitness oriented content to start their weekend off the right way. And now we got my first guest of the day. Let me hit this comment up. See, Carlos, you trying to make. He said Dresmond can do it. Dresmond is not getting access to my inbox, okay? What about Dresmond makes you think that dude needs access to my inbox? Can I get back to work? I'm trying to work here, okay? I'm trying to work here. All right, so coming to the stage, my first guest of the day. Show your love for my guy, Don Giaffardino. Donnie Pizza.
Morning.
Welcome back.
How are you today, John?
Man, I'm good, man. Like they said, what's that show? Welcome back, Carter. Welcome back. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing beautiful. This is definitely way too early for a Friday.
You hear it in your voice. It's like, hey, I didn't know if you suddenly started smoking unfiltered Camels or if you just woke up or what the deal was. But let's work with it. Let's work with it.
Just work with it, right? That's the old TV announcer's trick, is to get your voice hoarse from smoking.
Yeah. There you go. Oh shoot! I just kicked Don off the. Oh, I didn't get my life together, Donnie. Hang on a second. Let me bring you back. There you go.
There I am.
I clicked the wrong button. I didn't kick you off the thing. I just hit the wrong button. It's like I didn't want them thinking that your internet went out. It's like, yeah, the FCC heard him talking bad about TV announcers and kicked him off the show. No, that's not true. That's not what happened. So yeah, I've actually heard people say that though. So when I was in the Marine Corps, you start to pick up rank and you start to actually you're able to have conversations with people, right? And so I remember I was talking to a guy he was a former drill instructor, and we were just kind of we were in the gym talking, and he said that, you know how drill instructors in the Marine Corps, they have that raspy, gravelly voice, right? He said they'll help them develop that. At drill instructor school, they make them yell at trees. And you see, but it's also because if you've ever watched any of those Marine Corps boot camp videos, drill instructors say funny stuff. Oh, well, you have to be able to say it without laughing yourself. You have to maintain a straight face, right? So they get them, and then you also can't lose your train of thought. You can't you got to be able to go, right? And so they practice by yelling at trees at drill instructor school. So then their voices get real raspy and gravelly, like that. So then they all sound like DMX. So it's that. But then it translates over. I can see if you're on radio and you've got the acoustics for your mic, it's gonna make it sound like it'll just be perfect. You sound like you're smoking a cigarette right then and there. So yeah. But you don't have to do all that. You just got to wake up super early like Don, and you'll be right there in that zone.
You were already. It can't be super early because you guys were already up. So.
Well, what time is it there now?
It's 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So
you're. I know. part of Florida is
Central.
yeah, part of Florida is Central Time. So I wasn't sure if you lived in a part that's Central Time or not.
You could go back to the future when you do that.
Yeah. Well, see, what you do is, unlike Matt, who's in the UK and he's ahead of us all, you're in the future, so you have a moral duty to call the people who are in the past and let them know what's going to happen.
Let them know what's up.
Yeah, tell them what the winning lottery numbers are. I mean, come on now, help people out. You know, you can say, I'll tell you the winning lottery number if you split it with me, but I'm just saying, I mean, this America, okay? We're Americans, not Americans, okay? So we can make things happen. You just got to find a way. Carlos likes your beard, apparently.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've been working on that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You got a beard sponsor, or you're working towards that?
I'm working towards the beard sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely going to work on that.
I mean, next thing you have like your beard products on the website.
What's that?
So you can get beard products on the website, you know, oils and whatever else, you know.
Oh, you know, that might be. There's a
there's
lot of money in cosmetics, man.
Well, you think about how often you see guys who do like the Mace stuff. They're like no shirt on and they're dressed like a Viking or whatever, and they have these huge beards or whatever. So they're obviously in the market for beard products.
Definitely.
You know, one-stop shop. I'm telling you, it'll work. Carlos said he thinks you've been smoking Pall Malls, though.
Pall Mall, no filter Pall Malls. Wasn't there a song about the neighbor was smoking Pall Malls and a butt crack was showing while he was fixing his knees?
Don, what are you listening to? I've never heard that. I've never heard. Has anybody heard a song? Am I the only one that's never heard a song about the neighbor smoking Pall Malls and their butt crack is showing?
Yeah, there was a song a few years ago about that. It was kind of like funny growing up in the woods. I
would never go outside if I had lived in that kind of neighborhood.
I wouldn't either.
I'll move. That's quick. I am not interested in seeing that. Oh, there's Matt. Matt said, "Flash news from the future." John, you hit a PR today. Well, there you go.
That's awesome because I need to hit a PR. I've been slacking a little bit with my training.
Come on, Don. Come on now. We're depending on you to lead the way.
I know.
Show us the way.
I know, listen, even the guys out front got to have a bad day too.
Help us, Obi-Wan Don. You're our only hope.
Obi-Don Kenobi.
Yeah. There you go. Obi-Don Kenobi. That y'all heard it here first. That's his name. Obi-Don Kenobi. My man.
My goodness, don't stick me with that. It's too much responsibility.
You just we get you some Jedi robes, hook you right up. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I like that. We're sticking with that. That's going to continue. Let's jump into the Matt said, "Well, hello there." That's this line from that's Obi-Wan's line. I think it was from A New Hope. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into this, man. You know, I got questions for you. Now, Don is the adventurous type, so he said he did not want to know the questions ahead of time. I send the questions ahead of time to most of my guests. Don said, "I don't care about that. I am completely, you know, I want to go freestyle." Carlos, I'll get back to you in just 1 second. Because it looks like Carlos knows the name of the song for some strange reason. Let's go ahead, pull up my questions here for Don. All right. So, first of all, Carlos said that the name of the song is Hicktown by Jason Aldean. Carlos, we're gonna examine your. I know you live in Texas, Carlos, but we're gonna curate your radio listening because you don't need to be listening to songs about people's butt cracks. Pause. You just don't. Just stop it. Stop it.
Well, the name says it all. It's Hicktown.
See, I would associate Hicktown with the white tank tops. Well, the off-white tank top. It used to be white. Now it's like a yellowish.
It's yellowy.
Yeah. It's a little yellowy. It's yellow on certain spots. It's got some mysterious stains here and there. We don't a little bit of tobacco juice right here. That's
still
the only stain we can
shirt.
identify. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's
anyway,
still a good shirt.
No, it's not. No, you're in the neighborhood, Don. All right, let's actually get to work. All right, so okay. Don, first of all, though, I do want to say I shouted you out but I never thanked you publicly because you were shouting encouragement at me when I was deadlifting at Home Gym Con this past April. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, just check this out right here. Let's skip ahead to here. This is all prep time, preparation. And it's Ashton in the back. I never noticed that. See this right here? All right. All right. Look at this guy. And I didn't know you were there.
There you go.
I come creeping in like that.
Yeah. Don snuck into the thing. So Don snuck up behind me and was yelling encouragement. So I appreciate. I mean, because you used to power lift. So I mean, and even with the Mace stuff, you were talking about getting a PR. You've been in the game for a long time. So we all know how hard PRs are to come by, especially as you start getting older.
Who's old?
No, I said older. Older. I never said I was old. I said older. I'm middle aged. But it's almost like sometimes you feel like the easiest way to get a PR is to switch to another training style. You know what I mean? So like I normally lift sumo, so that's way below my sumo 1 rep max. But because I don't pull conventional, I mean, it's been a minute since I had pulled conventional. I didn't even know what my numbers would be. So we were literally, me and Keith from No Wine Cellar, we were literally just say, hey, well, I don't know, let's throw this on the bar and see how it feels. Like we were going up by feel. And I said, I just want to go up to a reasonably heavy single because one of the things I do if I'm traveling is I'm not actually going to go to a true PR. I won't go to a true 1 rep max because I got to drive home.
You got to get home.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I go to a true 1 rep max, especially if I'm by myself, I've driven home long distance and your back is all shot because I hit a good one. Yeah. The adrenaline wears off and now you're miserable. Your spinal erectors are just like fire. You're just, and then you got to get out of the car.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You get out. So you hit a PR in the deadlift, then you drive 7 hours. Now you got to get out the car and you can't. So now you just sleep in your driveway. I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that, Don.
I was this close to home.
Yeah. I'm like, so I just
get out.
So now I that's why you were like, oh, you had like 30 more pounds in you. I'm like, I believe you, but it's gonna stay out there. I'm not doing it. Yeah. But that was your first time at Home Gym Con. It was year 2 of Home Gym Con. It was your first time. Yeah, and what makes it special to me is you actually heard about Home Gym Con when you were a guest on the show last time.
Yes.
All right. So
and I signed up.
Yeah. So I'm like, so what was it that kind of was like the tipping point for you to sign up just like that to go? Because I think you heard me and Jake talking about it, and then you were like, oh heck yeah, I want to, we're gonna come to that. So what was the tipping point that made you say, yeah, we're gonna come to that?
So I had been to the Europa, the Arnold, I think in Ursa. Or it was an Ursa or a FIBO in Miami. I can't remember which one. And it didn't seem to suit my audience. I've been at a couple of CrossFit events too, like arena events where they have the athletes come in. And the crowds didn't seem to suit, Mason Club training. Everybody was there, especially like at the Arnold and the Europa, they're looking to get deals on protein powder and get autographed pictures. That's basically what they're doing. When you guys were talking about Home Gym Con, you and Jake were talking about that, and you were saying that equipment manufacturers are going to be there. And it's not just, every supplement company under the sun or, training programs. When they say equipment manufacturers, I was like, wait a second. We've been around for almost 10 years at that time, was just coming up on 10 years. And well, this year is our 10th year. And so we,
shout out to you.
Like I pitched it out to guys. I pitched it out Carlos and Sebastian. I said, what are we going to do here? I said, this sounds like it's more geared towards our audience as far as people walking in looking to purchase a piece of gear. So they're coming with they're coming with money in hand. in other words, and they're looking for, they're also coming to check out your product. We went there with the intention to meet other manufacturers so that, to be more cohesive in the fitness equipment manufacturing business. This was an event of manufacturers and people that are distributing benches, striking bags, mats, sandbags, all of your gym gear, kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, companies like Rogue were there. Black Widow equipment, it's Dean Shantz up in New York. It was fantastic to be able to see these guys and talk with other manufacturers, how they do their processes, where they're getting their stuff made. Some are made in America, some are made overseas. So it was in that aspect to be amongst other like-minded industry people, instead of me talking to a protein powder guy, like I have nothing in common with them. I'm talking with people that are making equipment like ADEX is making. They've got a facility that they're using to make their stuff, like, again, whether it's in America or overseas. And it was very interesting talking to them and making the connections there. And then also for the people that are coming in, there was a lot of people that got exposed to Mason Club training, like they didn't know about it, or people came in and said, they wanted to try it. So we brought all of our handles, all the different types of handles we had. The booth was manned by, not just us three guys from ADEX, but there was a couple of friends that came by and hung out at our booth, and were getting people, to swing a mace or a club and to try it out. So it was really great to be amongst people that not only use our equipment and train in that modality, but also the other equipment manufacturers.
So I want to dig into that a little bit. Jake is actually here, and he said, thanks, John. I'm assuming he's thanking me for basically for connecting you to Home Gym Con so that you actually could be there. Hey, it's my pleasure, dude. I knew it was a great idea when I first heard about Home Gym Con in the first year. And I think, and one of the reasons was exactly what you're talking about. I think it's a good idea, not just for us as home gym owners, but I knew it would be a good opportunity for brands to collaborate, to share best practices. Like you said, you guys all have some element of manufacturing that you have to deal with, some element, you're all dealing with supply chain issues. Basically, if the price of steel goes up, it affects all of you in some way. Just for example, just one thing that you guys can all say, hey, let's, this affects us all. How are you dealing with it? How am I dealing with it? You mentioned that you had that you met a bunch of people, but what I'm curious about is because we all want more days. You know what I mean? Like we're like, everybody who's an attendee was like, man, we wish we had 3 days instead of just 2, right? Because if I'm a content creator, so me trying to get around all the booths, it didn't happen. I wanted to get by your booth and I couldn't because I planned on doing it Saturday. I just ran out of time. And I was like, man, I wish we had a third day. So like Thursday, I wish we, it started on Thursday, or maybe it, like the Arnold, it ends, you can go through till Sunday, have it end on Sunday or something like that. But you guys, as you mentioned, that wasn't your first show of the year. So the 2 questions I have are, number one, what was your fatigue level like this, having done other shows this year before Home Gym Con? And number 2, what are your feelings about adding a third day, coming from the perspective of, a vendor who's got to set up you got to get there early anyway, because you got to set up your booth. So if it were to start on Thursday, that means you got to get there potentially Wednesday. So talk about those 2 things for me.
Okay, so going to setting up, like the days, Home Gym Con could probably use 4 days, to be honest. I think it's a much smaller, intimate crowd, but it's people that are ready to buy. It seemed like everybody that was coming in there was, looking for, that special piece of equipment. And I think they could at least add one more day to it. So if they did a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or if they don't want to do it on Sundays, they could do like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which I think would be great. And what was the first part of the question, John?
What was your fatigue level like? Because you've done other shows.
My critique level?
No, like how tired you were. Like,
I was the fatigue level.
Yeah, how fatigued were you?
I was melted by Saturday night. I was melted, and it ended on a Saturday, right? See, I don't even remember when it ended.
Yeah.
It ended on a Saturday, right? So Saturday night at the dinner for the vendors, that was a much welcomed dinner. I left right from the booth and went right to the dinner. I didn't even go back to where we were staying to change.
Okay.
So overall, I mean, just talking, like I said, we didn't even get to meet everybody in there. We decided we were going to start on the outside edges.
I saw you walking around and all that. Yeah.
We kept switching who was staying at the booth, so like if Sebastian came back, then I would take a walk around and I'd say, where did you go? And I would go the opposite way. And we try to work our way in. And what was funny, we didn't really meet the people next to us, even though we were like talking, I didn't get anybody's name, but like everybody around the outside, I was getting everybody's names and everything like that. But I'm telling you, it was busy. We were tired from, talking to people. It was exciting to, like people coming over and just being, amped up to try your gear instead of just looking at it and walking by, it's like a car show. Oh yeah, that's nice. And they walk by, people were just putting their hands on everything. And it was fun. And then like there was quite a few social media content creators that were walking around like yourself.
Right.
And I got to mention, Kinetic Living, Dan from Kinetic Living was walking around in there.
And you say he lives 20 minutes from you, but you didn't meet him until he was there.
Wait, and not only that, he's training with a guy, a very well-known fighter who comes and hangs out with us. Like he'll stop in like every week or two. Hector comes by like every week or two to, pops in because he trains very close to, I'm in the best place ever. I think I got the most fighters per population in the area that I live in because we have American Top Team. We have Sanford Martial Arts, Darrow's Strength, like every place that the fighters train at, boxers and grapplers and martial artists like kickboxers. I'm smack in the middle of them all, and I didn't realize that till after I started making the cut.
But I mean, your maces are a great way for them to train. Because to be honest with you, because fighting, I was actually a guest on. Shout out to Tiffany's Fitness. She had me as a guest on her podcast. And that episode's coming out. I think last week of July, first week of August. But anyway, during the conversation, we were talking about how different sports create imbalances, right? So like fighting makes you this way because you want to keep your chin tucked and you end up like this. And so like wrestlers tend to be like this a whole lot. And so you can actually see somebody, you can tell they're a fighter in some way because they tend to be really have a lot of kyphosis. So I was making the point to her that you have to intentionally put stuff in your training to reverse those imbalances. And it might even it might not be as simple as saying, well, I'm just going to have accessory work in my workout to fix imbalances. You might actually need to stop and dedicate a portion of your training year to just fixing the imbalances that you're going to get from your sport. So do something like a lot more mace work, just for example, because that's going to open you back up. So I think you're in the perfect place because somebody comes out of they do a fight, so you got the training camp leading up to the fight. Then you get the fight, and you don't want to just lay around doing nothing. That's not good for you. But you definitely don't want to just get right back in the gym and train. I mean, especially if you've got some sort of injury that you got in the fight. So being able to do something like some mace or club stuff, I think it would be ideal because it helps without taking away, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like some good loaded recovery. I don't want to miss this one because Jared said Jared was competing in the grip competition, and he said extra time would be appreciated, especially if somebody's doing a competition. Yeah, because the competitors. So if you compete on, say, the Friday in the grip competition, well, then that means you've only got Saturday to look at anything, right? If you compete Friday and Saturday, boom, you got no time to look at anything. So the thing is, though, that when I've talked about it with Jake, he said that his thing was not wanting to overburden you guys, the vendors, because, like you said, you've been standing, if you think about it, and this is just me, and if I miss anything, feel free to speak about it, obviously, but as a vendor, you're not only getting to expos and trade shows early, you're doing multiples all year long, right? And by the time you get to Home Gym Con, you've been standing on concrete floors in these expos multiple times. All right. So now you've been there all day long. You've got the fatigue of setting up the booth, having to be high energy because you can't be depressed when people meet you. That's their first time seeing you. This is like your 100th interaction. It's their first time talking to you. You got to be high energy with everybody. That'll drain you. Your voice is working all day for 3-4 days straight. You know what I mean? So that fatigues you. And then you got to break your booth down, and now you got to make the drive home, however long that takes. That fatigues you. So just again, from the perspective of the vendor, is like, I mean, you said 4 days, so obviously you're built for this. But I mean, like, do you think vendors could? Jake, I want you to hear this. My man just said 4 days. Matthew Porter, you basically were like a vendor. Matthew drove 17 hours from Florida. I don't know if your drive was. I'm assuming your drive was similar.
It was 17.
Okay, yeah. So
he must have came from around the same spot. Well, I'm in Deerfield Beach, so wherever Matt is at, he might be like from close to the area or on the west coast of Florida, driving the same way.
All right, so yeah, Matt, if you well, I know you're here, watch this or whatever. Go ahead if you feel comfortable. Put don't put your address. Just say the city you're in. Don't be like Ashton and give like your phone number out on the internet. Just say,
don't do that.
Yeah, give out just whatever city that you're from, man. Go ahead and put it in the chat. And Jake said that he did hear. Okay, he said he heard you say 4 days. So there you go. All right, he's in the planning phases for next year. So I am definitely on board with 4 days, man. I'm all about it.
I honestly think that was probably the best event for anybody that, if you have hard equipment, any type of equipment, that's the best event for it. That you're going to do better here than you're going to do at the other events. It's a lot smaller. You get a chance to talk to a lot more people. You get to put your gear in people's hands. It's, you could even set stuff up, for them to try it. There was people that had dip stations set up. I mean, it was great. Punching bags set up all over the place. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really did. And like I said, we tried to start on the outside perimeter and meet everybody and then work our way back to the booth when we'd get a chance to slip out. We'd say, okay, you two guys are here. I'm going to go take a walk. And, we'd all walk around. I don't think I ever made it to the center aisles. We were so busy talking with people.
So we are on LinkedIn right now as well. So that's, nice. Basically a business crowd. And so that's why I'm spending so much time on this portion of it, because there are businesses who are going to see this who are on LinkedIn, and they may not be familiar with Home Gym Con. So I'm just saying, this is a vendor, a business owner. So Home Gym Con, if you're on LinkedIn and you've never been to Home Gym Con and you have a fitness business, I'm telling you, you need to hit up my guy Jake. Go to Home Gym Con on Instagram at Home Gym Con, and click the links that are in the description in their bio, or you go to homegymcon.com, and it's an opportunity that you definitely don't want to pass up. But here, talking to Don from ADEX Clubs and Maces. Don, let's talk about some of your products, man. And I've got the link to your website going across the bottom here.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you. Everybody go to adexclub.com.
Spend all your money there.
There you go. Yeah. Well, no. Join my channel for 99 cents, and then spend the rest of your money on ADEXClub.com.
There you go. Yeah, and you know, because it's American made product.
Yep.
And you know, I'm going to start with that. Can I start with that?
You can start. Well, I wanted to talk about some of your new stuff that you have coming up, but yeah, we can talk about that because I want you to talk about the collaboration you're doing with Mark Wildman.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, exactly. In more ways than one, because the handles are bigger too. So let's talk about. So
okay.
yeah, just go ahead and talk about that as much as you feel comfortable. Go ahead.
So the thing with Wildman is he's a trainer, and if you guys don't know who he is, he puts together training packages. He's very, very thorough. He came from a science background. That's what he went to school for.
He's trained a bunch of celebrities though too.
Yes, he works with celebrities.
Like Hollywood celebrities, yeah.
His training is very methodical, and if you pay attention to it and do it exactly like he says, you're going to get results. And he does things for body weight. I believe he's got a sandbag program, a training for overweight and deconditioned people, which goes through different modalities of exercises. You're going to be using kettlebells, clubs, sandbags, you know, as you go on. He has a fantastic kettlebell program, and he's got probably one of the best, if not the best, club program that I've seen so far. And I think just his philosophy on training and my philosophy kind of jived, and we didn't know about each other. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in South Florida. He's on the West Coast in Los Angeles, California. You know, he's training celebrities. I believe he trained Chris Pine and Jack Black, and I think Gal Gadot, but I'm not really sure on that one. You know, I know he's got one of the action ladies in his portfolio there, but you know, he's also an aerial trainer, so like Cirque du Soleil type of stuff. Like, he's a pretty big dude, you know, like he's like 6'1", 6'2", and like, you know, minimum 230. Right. And he can train that aerial acrobatics.
He can do that.
He can do that.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and he's very thorough with his coaching.
So what is he doing with you guys with the maces though? Because like for one, so you guys have like let me see if I can pull this up here. You guys have a bundle with him, and I think you call it the Wildman bundle.
It's the Wildman edition, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got this. So this is one of his the two-hand steel. So I guess that's like a training program.
That's a training program. Yeah, we're offering that. We just put that on the website this week, Carla. I haven't even seen this live.
Look at that. Yeah, well, so I'm showing you your website. All right, let me show you around. So this is ADEXClub.com, Don. It's a great place. You need to go on there, okay? Yeah. Right here, they've got you got your Wildman Club kit handle, and this is the thing that stood out to me, that the handle diameter is 1.4 inches.
1.4 inches. That's like
that's huge.
Yeah, that's a good size handle. That's like 35 millimeters, which is the size of the competition kettlebell handles, I believe. And Wildman asked me if I could make a thicker grip club, you know, that's, you know, conducive to his training. I said, sure.
Like, I'll make you anything you want and you pay for it.
Yeah, pretty much, you know. And I said, you know, so we're working together in that aspect. You know, this was on his recommendation, the thickness of the handle.
Okay.
And with his package initially, we started including the 1 1/4 weights. The 1 1/4 weights used to be, we've been making those since 2000, I'm going to say 18. I can't remember exactly when I unleashed the 1 1/4. Because when I started out at ADEX, it only had 4 or 5 pound weights.
Okay.
And then I you know, as it morphed along, the 2.5 pound weight came out.
Right.
And I realized it was for 2 reasons. I did it for 2 reasons. I realized that it was too heavy, the 5 pound jumps, like the regular fixed weight clubs. They go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25
100%.
pounds like that. And it's
Especially
very
when
hard.
you said clubs,
Was
because
that?
that's one. I said no. I'm saying that's especially because you said clubs. Like that's one hand. The
Yeah.
mace, at least you got two hands on it. A club, that's one hand. That's for people who haven't used a club. Don was good enough to give my uncoordinated behind a class with the maces and the clubs. And I'm telling you, it is a lot harder than you would think. And then you add the weight to it. So yeah, that I can't imagine going up by 5 pound increments.
Yeah. So like your wrist and your elbow aren't strong enough to, like to make those 5 pound jumps sometimes.
Yeah.
And especially if you're taking somebody who was injured or something like that, they can't
Sure.
do it. But I realized the 2.5 pound was good. And then I realized it made more settings for the club. So now it added more value to the club because you have more settings and more usable, workable weights.
Right.
And it made it easier to progress. Then about a year later or 2 years later, I realized, cut the 2.5 pound weight in half and make the 1 1/4 fractional weight so that you can micro load just like you do in powerlifting, right?
Yeah.
Put those little plates on there and, eventually you're going to get to your, 10 pounds more, 20 pounds more on your PR. So that was kind of like a revelation. So while I'm doing that, Wildman is coming out with his training programs. He started about the same time I did in 2014, I believe, or 2013. And he's, chugging along on the West Coast. I'm cruising along on the East Coast. And then when Carlos started doing my social media marketing and helping with business management, Carlos is from the Snag Agency. I consider him like the third ADEX employee. He's like the fifth Beatle.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos is like the fifth Beatle. He's like there in the background telling us like, you and Sebastian are stupid. Stop doing that stuff.
That's
like things like that, right? You're like,
Yeah.
cut it out. And we're like, okay, what's the plan? And he gives us the business plan. So anyway, Carlos said, hey, did you ever hear about this guy, Mark Wildman? Because he's got a training program that's called Nerd Math, and he likes to go up in small increments for kettlebell and club training. And we've got the equipment to do it. Nobody else has it. Now, Wildman kind of knew about us, but he didn't know about us. Like I kind of knew about him, but didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Like Carlos put us in touch with each other. And it's like that old Reese's peanut butter commercial where you got chocolate in my peanut butter. I got peanut butter in your chocolate. Yeah. And it like plugged in so well.
Uh-huh.
And then, like as we, built up a rapport, I never met Mark Wildman. We've been doing business together for over 2 years now.
Okay.
We just started carrying his programs, like everything's settling in. We got all the feeling out. What he asked me to make a product for him. We did the Wildman Edition Club. It included the 1 1/4 pound weights. And the other kits, you had to buy them separately up until February 1st of this year.
Nice. Okay.
And so then then I decided to put the 1 1/4s in all the kits. We also had to have a price increase too because of the materials going up, like you were talking about with COVID and everything like that. If you got an increase in your steel, everybody feels it. Well, that happened, and we try to keep the price as low as we could for long enough, but we increased the price on our regular club kit, the original handle and the fat handle, by including the 1 1/4 pound in there.
Okay.
So, I just didn't want to, raise the price and not do anything. So we remodeled those clubs. So after February of this year, we remodeled our original handle and our fat handle clubs to be the length of the Wildman handle clubs so that the thread sets would accommodate that extra 1 1/4 on there. So we put an extra, I think 3/4 of an inch in the handle or an inch in the handle. I can't remember what it was, but we actually, designed it to replicate that. And we now all of our clubs include the 1 1/4, all of our kits So that even the Maces have it, the ARC has it, and that is so people can do the micro loading that's in Mark Wildman's Nerd Math for any of those programs, his club programs, or it also it jives with his kettlebell program too. He's a big believer in the adjustable kettlebell.
Nice.
So,
so let me catch up with there's one chat that I missed from Keith, and he said Grand Rising. I don't know if that's the name of the song. I thought the song was Hicktown, but he says Grand Rising. And so maybe that's a song that's got butt cracks in it too. No Diddy. Carlos said no Diddy.
I thought it was Hicktown myself.
Yeah, no Diddy. And there are several pausable moments. All right, let's just say pause and just apply that to wherever it needs to be applied. In fact, pause on that, what I just said. Tattoo saying, Matt says that mace work has helped him so much with his shoulder mobility since he added them to his training. And he said it's decreased his elbow pain because of tight triceps. Because now that I'm doing a lot of thick bar pressing, that hits your triceps so hard. And so the strongman competitors, they're always pressing with the axle and all that. So I can imagine that his triceps are super tight. And so Carlos in the chat says he's no relation to Carlos that you're talking about. Okay. All right. We've cleared that up.
That's Carlos Coffee, we call him. It's Carlos Coffee and Kettlebells, and I think he used to do it with a K for the coffee.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was his handle on Instagram.
So this Carlos is in the Wild West of Texas, and he's actually he claims he's trying to save his cell phone battery, but I think he's probably sitting in the car draining his battery right now. So
he is,
because the power's out because of barrel.
Oh, that's right.
Let's see. Matt says his triceps are so tight he can bounce a ball off of them. So, I think you should video that and post it and make sure you tag me because I want to see it.
It's like an extra tight mattress, like when you made your bed in the Marine Corps and then somebody bounced a quarter off it.
That's
it. Like a drum.
Oh my God, that used to be so annoying. Yeah, until I was the one doing the inspections, and it was cool. So Don, I know you're not able to get into specifics, but you do have partnerships with some other businesses, and you were able to get those connections going, as you said, at Home Gym Con. So were you? I think you were able to talk to Sean from Banffhammer.
Oh, Sean Richardson. Yes.
Yeah. Did you already know him, or was that somebody else that you met at Home Gym Con?
Well, we met with Sean again. I've seen Sean at other. What was funny, I think it was, like I said, I can't remember if it was the FIBO or the URSA in Miami, but here's a funny story about Sean. He was walking around passing out the Banffhammers, and you know how big they are, right? Like like this big. It's like this. Wait a second. It's like this, right?
Yeah.
So he walks up. So I'm with Lionel from Lion Strong in Miami, and Lion Strong has over 40 pieces of ADEX gear at their gym. He's got big open floor space, and he does all functional training. And he's like leading the way, like doing a lot of he borderlines between physical therapy and performance athletics. So you'll go there and probably not get hurt, but you'll get you'll get better as an athlete.
Okay.
So Lionel and I were walking around that show, and Sean was just handing out he would walk around with two of his Banffhammers and, 15, 20 pounders. He's walking around and he just stick it in people's faces. And I don't think he recognized us at first, like right off the bat. And he just shoved it in our hands, and Lionel and I gave each other the look, like we looked at each other and we just started milling with it. Like it was, because we knew what it was. And he was like, "Oh my God, it's you guys." Like he realized after like a second, and it was just very funny the way that played out.
So he handed it to you, because I mean, when he first hands it to somebody, they don't even know what to do with it, and then they'll try to whatever, right? So like the first time he handed me one, the first thing I did was do a lever with it, a sledgehammer lever, right? And I was able to do, a few of them or whatever. I couldn't do it with the heaviest one, but that's like the first thing. I certainly didn't attempt to do. We already talked about my mace problem, right? I didn't try to do that with that, but I knew that you could also use it for like slams.
Yes.
So I was just asking about that because I think that there is some synergy with you guys and with Bam Hammer. So I didn't know if you guys were able to hook up in any other way because you guys were
like
there is a little bit.
Yeah,
like
friends in
just
the
like some talking.
same industry. We've known each other. Like people will ask about, can I strike? People all the time, they ask me, they'll call up and ask about my equipment, and they'll say, can I strike a tire with it or anything like that? And I tell them, no, don't use my equipment. Don't use my equipment for striking a tire.
Right.
Unless you do it.
That's how you loosen
empty.
it. Yeah, because that's how you loosen the head.
Yeah, you'll bend it. It's my stuff is not made for that. But I always tell people, to get the Banff hammer because they don't have to have a tire, or if they want to strike something and they've got that, and to double up on it. And and I don't mind pushing, not pushing, but pushing them towards.
No, I know what you mean, like recommending stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm an honest guy. Am I going to try to make a sale? Yeah. If it's something that I can be honest about and tell you, no, my equipment's not good for that. Look at this guy's equipment. I'm going to refer my friend. And Sean's been a friend. Since we communicate via social media every now and then, and we run into each other at shows. So it's kind of like he's part of the circle.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do as much of that. I mean, obviously I get brand deals, but I also don't mind, if the circumstances are right and the vibe is right. I've done products where I'm like, I know I'm not going to get anything out of this. They're not going to pay me anything, but I just believe in the product. Actually, I'll give a good example of it is the wrist wraps from Athletic Over Everything. I just happen to believe that those are the best wrist wraps for any kind of, if anything that requires wrist wraps, right? So any like powerlifting, strongman. And so not only do I not get paid for telling people that, I usually give them as gifts. If I know somebody who's into strength sports or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this guy likes to bench press, does a lot of shoulder pressing or whatever, I'll buy, and I'm like, I just want to get something for him, like something nice or whatever. I'll get them that because I just think that this is a good product. I say, hey, don't shout, and then they'll shout me out on Instagram. I'm like, no, don't shout me out. I'd rather you shout out the company. Like you can leave my name out of it completely because I think he's a good dude, the guy that makes it. And it's the same thing. Like if I were to give somebody an ADEX Club, it's like, Don's a good dude. You don't need to shout me out for getting you the thing. I'd rather you shout out the company because that puts it, that makes it expose it to other people. So that, that's kind of like, I look at it as, yes, it's supporting American businesses, but even more directly, I'm just supporting a good dude, somebody. And if we don't support good dudes, then you're going to have businesses where the only businesses that are successful are the ones that are run by jerks. You have the companies,
people.
Yeah, the ones who cheat people, the ones that treat people badly. And I'm like, if you don't want people who cheat to win, you got to support the good people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know that sounds like real hokey and corny, but that's like the main thing you can do. And I think that there's a lot more power in saying positive things about companies that are doing things the right way than in making negative posts or negative stuff about companies that are doing it the wrong way. Because there's a saying when I took my public relations classes in college, they're like, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So as much as people, for example, with the PRX thing, as much as people thought that PRX, they got negative publicity, and they did, if they correct it, people are paying attention to them now. So all they have to do is correct it, and boom, now you have people say, yeah, okay, well, now I will go. Look how many times PRX is, heck, I just mentioned them right now.
Yes.
That's free advertising. You know what I mean? So I prefer as much as I can to not even talk about the bad companies, just talk about the good ones. And so, yeah, I mean, I've recommended Sean from Banff Hammer. I get nothing out of that except knowing that I did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I completely 100% agree with that. Do you have I don't know how much you can talk about this one, but there's another brand that I'm a big fan of that you guys connected with at Home Gym Con. Are you at the stage where you can talk at all about the Exponent Edge thing?
About
Or
which one?
are you Exponent Edge?
Exponent Edge. That's the rack.
They have the Infinity Bench. They've got the yeah. So you're
That's,
like, I don't want you. Like, I don't know.
That's Jay, right?
Yeah.
Jay, that was fun. Yeah, Carlos.
First of all, talk about how you met him. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So we were taking the bus from the resort. The resort was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yes, I'm mad that we're not going back.
Dude, and not only that, do you know that they rebuilt all the new parts of that from after that? When was it built? Like 1880 or something like that? Yeah. 1885. The original resort, all the rest of it had to be built to be modeled the same way. You notice there was no difference in the styles.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Really cool. That resort was.
Did you go through the tunnel?
What's that?
In the basement, there's a tunnel. You can go through a tunnel that shows like the original, like the mine tunnels that they used.
Yeah, is that the place where it had like the little museum pieces in it?
Yeah. If you go down to the very bottom where the there's like a bowling alley and arcade. If you go down there,
see that.
Oh man! If you go all the way to the basement, there's a bowling alley and an arcade, and then there's a tunnel, and it shows like the original
like springs.
No, like the original, just like what they carved out to be able to the mine workers to be able to go back. They tunneled out, in the 1800s to go through this tunnel, and it was super cool. I took my daughter through there when we were there for Home Gym Con, the first Home Gym Con, right? And it's just super cool if you're into history like I am.
I didn't know.
But yeah, so you guys are on the. But I got you off sidetracked. So you were on the bus.
We were on the bus.
Dinner.
We're going to our dinner place because like that place is like 550 acres or 5,000 acres or something. It's huge.
Yeah.
So we were going to dinner and we met Jay, and he said, "Hey, I've got this rack." Like Carlos started talking to him. Like we were just sitting on the bus.
Nice.
And he's like, "You guys are from ADEX, Of course, we're sitting there with all the ADEX stuff on, right? Yeah, of course we're from ADEX. Of course,
yeah.
And he's like, he's like, oh, this would be great. So now Carlos is actually talking with him right now about that product for us to possibly carry it. It takes, back in the day, I used to think, oh yeah, you meet somebody, you shake their hand, and you got a little partnership. Now that I have a business that's got all these legalities involved in it, it's like it takes for. So like if it was you and me, let's say doing a business deal, I could be like, John, don't worry about it. I'll send you one tomorrow. Now it's like, how can we market this? You got to talk about it for 6 weeks, and then
Don, you can do that with money too. If you just want to send, you can just send me money. Today works too. You can just send me money.
Just send money.
Yeah. Send money. We'll figure out the rest later.
Just send the money. We'll solve all your problems.
We'll figure out the rest later. Just start sending money. We'll figure it out now.
So,
but I mean, like I said, go ahead. So you said
met him on the bus.
Are working it out now.
Yeah, and Carlos is kind of handling that because, like, they try to, they think Carlos and Sebastian think I do too much, so they try to take on projects themselves, like to reduce it for me. You know what I really think it is? I think they don't trust me to make the deals, so they're doing it.
I told you it's delegating. You're saying it's not that I can't do it. I'm empowering you to do it to help you as part of my developing you as a leader.
Yeah. So we
get my coffee.
Connection and work with somebody that we could possibly, do and we did make that connection at Home Gym Con.
Nice.
So there's another plus right there. This is. We also did talk to, for anybody who's interested in this, there were 2 companies, I believe, that were representative of manufacturing overseas. I decided against it. We just collectively decided against it. That we figured out, what we're doing with ADEX and how many people it affects in America, for us to change to go overseas, it kind of isn't fair. Well, not fair, but it's, I would rather have my product made where I can see it being made any day of the week that I need to go and check the factory where my stuff is made, the machine shop where my stuff is made. I can go over there, at any time, or change anything on the fly. I don't have to, communicate overseas and possibly lose things in translation, plus the quality issue.
Right.
So we're keeping it here in America, but for the people that do need to produce things overseas for cost effectiveness, although there's ways to do it here in America, if anybody manufacturing things out of metal in a machine shop, if you need to speak to somebody about cost effectiveness, contact me. As far as that, I could maybe help with some ideas that you didn't think of to help get your costs down of made in America equipment. But back to Home Gym Con, there were two representatives of companies that manufactured overseas. And we were speaking with them also too about, a more affordable line that we could do, but we decided against it right now, because we're enjoying the success with the American-made product and the high quality that it is, and the oversight that we have in the involvement in the production. So that's very important. But if you don't need that, there are people right there that if you have an idea for a fitness equipment piece or a whole line of equipment, you can speak to manufacturers that can make it here in America or overseas. Those people are also available. It's not just the end retailer of the fitness products.
All right, so we got some follow-up stuff right there. So first of all, Eric says, and these actually go right into my last question, right? I got one more question for you. So Eric said, Home Gym Con is awesome for collaboration. He said, can't wait to see what else comes in the next few months from it. And I agree 100% with that. Dennis Solis, my guy, Dennis said, I would love to know more about manufacturing in the USA. Eric is at work. He says, Eric's at work. He says, I'm manufacturing in the USA as we speak. There you go. Doing your bit for the economy. I appreciate it, Eric. So that is a nice segue into my last question, which is, what can people look forward to from ADEX over the next few months? We've got Black Friday and the holiday shopping season coming up. Now, we just made it through the summer. I guess we're still kind of in the summer season for sales, but you've got you guys going to be ramping up, I assume, for like all the holiday shopping season that's going to be coming up. So what can people look forward to from ADEX? And if they want to buy something from you, or they just want to keep up with you, how can they find you on social media or tell them your website?
Okay. So what's come up this year? If you're an ADEX customer and I'm talking people after 2016, I built my business on rock and roll, like the song. No, I built my business
like the city, huh?
Okay. Yeah. I built my business on it was self-financed. It was self-perpetuated. So if people remember the first batch of clubs I paid for. So I saved the money, I had that made. And then I said, how am I going to get the second batch made without killing my savings, my household savings? And I decided to do, I looked at everything from crowdsource funding to find an angel investor, a venture capitalist, looked around for small business loans, maybe possibly maxing out a bunch of credit cards. And I said, the best thing to do right now was to do pre-orders. So, I sold my first batch. I was kind of legitimate. People already did business with me. I had good reviews. So I made 50 on my first batch. The second batch, I made 50, and I took pre-orders for it. So I used a little money that I made from the first batch. And then I told people, it's normally $199. This was the price back, I'm talking 10 years ago.
Right.
It was $199. I dropped it down to one. So you could see the price. This is mostly due to steel increases. This is
Right.
me just trying to get greedy. So it was $199. I think I sold them for $179, and it was anywhere from a 1 month to a 4 month waiting period. But people were financing me to be able to do that for the savings that they got. And so, like, I would put the product on sale. Then when I started rolling, I realized I could do two things. I can artificially inflate my product and then put it on sale at certain times of the year. And then I'm going to be going crazy, let's say 4 times a year, with sales.
Right.
And I'm going to be going nuts, putting 400 things in a box in 1 week, like, which I'd never be able to do. Or I could make a fair markup where it was good for both the consumer. The pricing was good for both the consumer and for ADEX all year long. So we didn't have to put anything on sale. And that's basically where we are. So, with that being said, we haven't run any specials or sales in, I'm going to say, 8 years.
Okay.
So again, this was totally financed by itself. It was, like just taking the money and putting it back in. And, I took a very small paycheck in the beginning because of that, but everything rolled over. So that's how I strategize doing my business. And I'm adhering to the fact of being a fair price 365 days a year instead of somebody waiting for a sale. Wait until Black Friday or Cyber Monday or, Memorial Day or Labor Day or 4th of July or whatever, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day. Why should you have to wait for a special day to get a good price? I'm going to leave this as the price it is. We're not going to overly inflate it to just cut it back. But this year, since we're partnering with Wildman, we're going to be offering some of the training packages and at a little bit of a discount for Cyber Monday to be an enticement. So if people are interested in that, or if they're interested, and we might be doing fixed weight clubs as a giveaway with the purchase of one of the Wildman programs, the training for overweight individuals or the basic club program. I think we are going to be doing fixed weight clubs that we manufactured. They are ADEX pieces. You can see what they look like. They look just like our clubs. Sure. And so we're going to do those as like a giveaway. It's a fixed weight. I think there's 6 pounds or 7 pound clubs that you could get a good start with if you're brand new to club training. I think we're going to have somewhere between 30 and 50 of them to do the upcoming this year. I don't know when that's going to be for, though, because like I said, I got guys doing this stuff.
Well, but the easiest way is for them to just keep up with you on social media. So I'll put this. Your Instagram is right here, and then do they need to go? Do you have a newsletter or something that they can sign up for if they go to your website?
Perfect. They can on the bottom.
I do this professionally. You know what I'm saying?
I know you are on the money. At the bottom of all of our pages on the website, you can sign up for the ADEX mailing list. We usually send out one email a week, and it's usually on Friday night, saying what inventory is in stock, what we've got upcoming, or if we're going to be at any events, or if we're holding any events, which we just had Mark Wildman a couple weekends ago at the gym behind us. ADEX has a home gym now, like right behind us. So, it's kind of nice. So you could sign up there. We don't send out any spam. We don't sell your name. I don't collect. I'm not a data miner. I probably should be to make extra money, but I don't do that. I don't think that's cool to do that. Okay. So, it's all stays in house with us. Nice. So we're at adexclub.com. Very easy to find. Also, too, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. I'm 60 years old. Facebook's easy for me. I can use it easy, so that's why I do it. And I'm a old boomer. So, like on Facebook, you can find me under Don Giaffredino, my name. The last name begins with a G. There's no J in an Italian alphabet. Wow. Or you can find it on ADEX Club and get to me from there. Most of the stuff that I post about business about club training is on my personal page on Facebook, because I'm trying to get all my high school buddies to start moving around again.
All right. Well, man, I'll put all those links in the description for the video.
Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you being on here, dude. It was awesome having you as usual. And we got stick around, man. We got another cool guest coming up, and maybe you may be able to send him some of your stuff. We got Mike from Hybrid Resistance. He's coming up right now. So Don, man, I'm gonna let you go so I can get Mike in here. But man, I appreciate you being here, dude.
Hey, no problem. I'm gonna unplug the microphone. I'm gonna make a cup of coffee and watch the rest of the show.
Awesome, my man. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, John. It's always a pleasure.
Always, man. You're welcome. Come back anytime.
Thanks, brother.
All right. So, like I said, so I got my guy Mike, and he is in the background waiting to come on here. So you guys see that right there. But let's go ahead and give a shout out to this 8 o'clock here. But it is 6 o'clock for the Mountain Time Zone. Good morning to the Mountain Time Zone. Rest of the country's already been up and at it. But don't take it personally. Don't feel like we're looking down on you. All I'm saying to you is welcome to the show. And if this is your first time, I need you to hit that like and subscribe. Help me reach 50,000 subscribers so my mom will be proud of me. I just said that because my mom watches the show. I know she's proud of me. Shout out to you. Love you, mommy. But yeah, please hit subscribe. Help me reach 50,000 subscribers. And there is one other thing that does apply specifically to my next guest. So I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Because one way that you can support the show is by going to Freedom Fitness and buying a banner. So go ahead and grab a banner. Hey, if you want to support our channel, plus grab the perfect finishing touch for your home gym, go ahead and grab one of our 16-ounce laminated vinyl banners. They are easy to hang and easy to clean with just soap and water, and a great way to show that you represent the garage gym lifestyle. So head over to our friends at freedomfitnessequipment.com and order yours today. And there you go. All right. So I got to bring my guy on here, Mike from Hybrid Resistance on YouTube. He's our second guest. Show your love.
What's up, John?
Humble channel.
How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, man?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man. It sounds good. Everything, it sounds cool. All I'm going to do right here, the only thing I cannot abide, I can't let you do this to yourself. You're not lowercase dude. All right, look at the size of that dude's arms. All right, all right, we're gonna do this for you. So we're gonna.
I actually had it spelled off. Anyway, it would have been Mike R or something, M-I-K-R. When I was
boom, there you go.
There you go. Nice.
I can't have you be Miker either. So there you go, Mike from Hybrid Resistance. Man, thanks for being here. And I want to tell everybody, or tell you in front of everybody, as well as my guy Keith. Shout out to you guys. You bought Garage in Life banners, and that is a huge deal to me. That support, man. Look at you right there. Look at this dude. You can tell this dude's a professional.
Ready for you, John.
Look at that. Got it right there. Showing that banner. Man,
there you go, bro.
Seriously, thank you. So
it's
I didn't realize you had it already.
Yeah, this wasn't a free thing. When I saw this, I knew you had the garage, you got the crosses in there, so that was a must buy right away. I don't know where I'm gonna put it yet. I think I'm gonna put it right up there, but it'll be here.
Nice.
I'm proud.
Let me give you some design tips. I took one semester of interior design in college because I had to have an elective. And so in my professional interior design, I've got experience in the field now. I just told you. You need to put it wherever the camera will see it whenever you shoot a YouTube video. That's the best place. It'll enhance all the workouts if you do that. If you don't do that, you won't hit a PR again. Okay. But I'm just telling you, I'm trying to help you, okay?
Yeah.
Because your progress is important to me.
I was gonna say I want to work out some deal, like a quarter at least every time I get a shot with it.
We'll think of something. I will definitely repost anything that you put up with the banner in the background. How about that?
There you go.
But I actually already do, and this kind of segues into what we're going to talk about today. I love your content because you come at things from a slightly different perspective. In that, when I look, you do reviews, but you're not just like doing like the typical all the same brands that everybody else is reviewing. And I love the fact that you've got variety in there. I like the care that you take when you're talking about the products, when you're explaining, like you did like what was the thing, the X3, I think.
Yeah.
And you showed how to put it on. I mean, you don't have to go through all that, like putting it on right now, but I'm saying like you showed how to put it on. You explained like the reasons why you think it's a good product. And I think that everybody who does reviews would say, oh yeah, this is a good product because of this, but you don't typically see people reviewing products using them. Instead, they stand next to it and they talk about it like, and then they do the Vanna White. And over here, this is the thing. You know what I mean? Like, nah. You like that? How I did the product placement with the sign real fast? But I made it natural. See that? I do this. Yeah. Nah. But I'm just saying this like, so you kind of do like what I do in my videos when we're doing a review. I try to show clips of me actually using it to prove that it does what I say it's going to do. It did it for me, and it could potentially do it for you too. So shout out to you just for having that approach, and I want to get into how you built your channel, because you're like 40-something thousand subscribers now. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't checked. It's 43 or 44, something like that. I'm not sure.
See, that's how you know somebody's is hitting the big time. They don't even check. They're just like, there's a bunch of people that love me. The exact numbers, who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. If I stress out too much about that, then that's one more extra thing to think about. But yeah, no, it's definitely, I think it's a 44 or something like that.
So we got a guy who's watching. He's from the UK, and he's our resident. I wouldn't call him a troll because he is a good dude, but he is that guy. You know that guy from school, that one guy from school? Well,
yeah.
It's him. All right. And he said, and they say that I have a rage against resistance bands. I don't. But what happened is, like, for some reason, when for a while there, I was going through a thing where every time a company would send me a product to review, they would send me resistance bands. And so I had resistance bands all over the place in here. I was running out of space, and we were giving them away to people like, hey, you want some resistance bands? Hey, here you go, right? And then you give one away and two show up in the mail. You're just like, seriously? So I do not have anything emotionally against resistance bands. But since he did bring that up, talk about, you've been lifting for quite some time. What is it that you like about resistance bands as a training modality? I know this was one of the questions I asked you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was organic with the channel, like a lot of things. So when I first started doing stuff in the home, I think the first bands I purchased, like a lot of stuff, I still purchase a lot of stuff I buy. I purchased the Undersum bands because everyone kept talking about them, and I knew it was more marketing hype than anything. But there's loop bands, and I started just putting them on different things. Like my Total Gym was up, my sliding bench trainer wasn't a Total Gym, it was a different brand. And then I really didn't like them as much. So long story short, a lot of my viewers who watch the channel did because they liked stuff that was kind of small stuff. We can get into kind of demographic of my channel, which I think is a little bit different on a side tangent, but. I guess this isn't a shameless plug. People hate this thing, and I even sometimes don't like talking about it because it brings up so much, sediments. But it really was this thing right here, this X3. People kept talking about it during, the dark times. I don't know if it'll flag the channel.
Well, that's because the thing comes on like whenever you see something come on like an infomercial, you're like, ain't no way. There's no way that thing's any good. All right, but you went ahead, you took the plunge and said, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, mostly because I thought, like a lot of things for the channel, I'll invest in stuff or I'll try something out if enough people be asking about it. And I didn't think anything special about it. And I'll say this a million times over. I don't subscribe to the whole quote unquote science behind it. Not that there's not some stuff there. At the end of the day, to make it short, to go on tangents, I like resistance bands for certain things. And people who watch my channel know this. I get flack back and forth as with everything because I have a lot of people who are diehard resistance fans, people who swear up and down by it. So if I say anything negative, they kind of crucify me in the comment section. But there's some people that actually hate resistance bands. They'll say, well, you're kind of shilling for them. I try and be realistic that I just use them really for a couple of things. In fact, my channel, maybe about 4 or 5 videos ago, I made a video just saying like, I only use bands for these, I think like 5 exercises or something like that. And that's pretty much all I use bands for. So I love them, but I just use them as a secondary tool. That's really long and short of it.
So this funny because like the first group I guess I heard about using resistance bands was the guys from West Side, and that was for a while there. That was like the strongest powerlifting gym in the world, right? And so I know that resistance bands are useful, that they have their place in strength training. I guess, and you mentioned Undersun, that's the James Grage thing, right? I got nothing against James Grage. In fact, James, if you're watching this, check your email because I have sent you an email asking you to be on here. All right. We can make that happen. In fact, actually, hold up. If what I say makes you mad, I invite you to come on here and yell at me. Yeah, that'll do it. But anyway, but no, I think the thing about resistance bands is like anything, it becomes a gimmick. For a while, kettlebells were the thing that everybody was like, that's a gimmick, you seeing like these. Basically, once something shows up in Walmart, it starts losing credibility as a fitness modality. But that doesn't mean that the original thing or the idea itself is invalid. It just means it's a thing. I mean, they sell bottled water at Walmart. It may not be the highest quality, but that doesn't mean water shouldn't be drunk. Like you stop drinking water because they got it at Walmart, just as an example. And while I'm at it, before I forget, everybody make sure that before this show is over, you subscribe to Hybrid Resistance on YouTube. I got it going across the bottom there. Let's get my guy up to 50,000 subscribers. I'm not even mad if he gets there before me. I would just like to join him at 50,000 subscribers, right? But subscribe to Hybrid Resistance on YouTube. Let's talk about, I guess, how we met. This is technically our first time meeting. This is our second conversation because we spoke on the phone. But we saw each other, and you probably don't even remember seeing me. I saw you at Home Gym Con, and I knew you looked familiar. I was like, who is that guy? He looks familiar, right? But I couldn't remember because, I mean, normally, well, at Home Gym Con, I saw your entire body. But normally, because I watch you on YouTube, this is what I see, right? So you look kind of different when I see all of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody cut me some slack. I didn't recognize him, all right? And but we were able to connect. I think I commented on one of your videos or something, and I just appreciate the fact that you actually responded to me. I mean, well, hey, look, that doesn't always happen, and I'm talking about, it doesn't matter the channel size. I'll post a comment, and it's crickets, right? So I appreciate the fact that you responded to the comment. And that's actually what led to you being here on the show. That being said, how do you decide like which opportunities are right for you? Because I was inviting you to come on the show. So how do you decide, hey, this is somebody that I'm going to kind of take this a little bit further with and actually pursue this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for a lot of things. I mean, the only thing I guess for an interview part, I don't get asked to do that many interviews. Contrary to what you said, I don't think I'm that special. We're a niche demographic, so of course grateful for the subscribers. But I think,
do y'all see that dude's hair? I mean, he's got the Superman, the Green Lantern. That's superhero hair right there. He's saying he's not. I mean, look, let's give you the big screen again. Look at that hair.
Yeah, you got me fresh gelled here. I got gelled
Look
out.
at that.
Yeah, just for you. I put gel on this early.
I mean, I put on my good cologne because I knew today was a big day for me. So yeah.
Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, for opportunities. Yeah, nothing really. I mean, I think if it matches, just really two simple things. If I'm interested in it, and I think the audience kind of wants to see it. There was someone asked me recently, which I got to respond to this person, and you know how it is. I try and get to all the emails and comments, and sometimes you got life going on. Not that we're anything special, but someone asked to go on some show that was totally off a different subject area. That I'm like, this doesn't really make sense for me to be on, as much as I would like to entertain the idea. But that's pretty much it as far as for interview stuff. I think you talked about even the questions you sent over, even just like collaborations. And I'm always for that too. I think this may be on the point with Home Gym Con. We can get into like kind of my own thoughts about being there and stuff like that. But my sentiment being there, as much as I'm talking about home gym review content, I don't necessarily feel like I'm in that community as much. And maybe that's just because I don't know why. I don't think I'm not, of course I'm reviewing stuff, but I'm not doing from day one. I didn't want to do like the same thing everyone else is doing. So sometimes you do review stuff, and that's kind of like a business decision. I shouldn't say business decision, but something I'm always thinking about is like, is it worth doing this thing or not? And a lot of times it's really, at the end of the day, it's just organic. But I just didn't really feel like I was in that home gym community because I didn't really feel like I was doing the same thing everyone else was kind of doing. So with Home Gym Con, yeah, basically seeing you, it kind of made sense. Yeah, of course, jump on because we're talking about stuff like that. But I'm kind of going on a tangent, lost track of the main question. But
I do that to everybody. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we'll be talking about butterflies or something.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, we can talk about anything. That'd be fun.
We were not talking about butterflies. I said that was a trick for the people in the chat. They always bring up freaking butterflies. They're trying to get me to buy a butterfly suit. That's a horrible, long, sordid story that we're not getting into. And I'm also, for everybody watching, I am not getting a butterfly suit. Let's go there. Instead, I'll ask you this question that was posted earlier in the chat. Eric Carpenter from Carp's Gym YouTube channel said he wants to know how you are liking the Rep Fitness yoke.
I love it. You know, so it was one of those purchases, and again, it wasn't sent it for free or anything like that. I was eyeing a yoke, almost went with the Titan Fitness one. This one just seemed just more substantial, no offense, Titan Fitness, and more versatile with what it could do and the way it was kind of configured. So far, I'm loving it. You know, it's one of those things where I keep thinking, like, will this stand the test of time? At the end of the day, why I really wanted it is because I needed a squat rack, and I wasn't using a squat rack dedicated on the channel for that often. So I wanted something I could actually, break down if need be. With that said, though, is it out of the question to ever get like a full-on power rack or something like that? That's not out of the question. But for right now, this is doing everything. And actually, right now, the setup I have is I can right now, it took some finagling, but I can actually squat on that side, and then the lever arms are set up on the other side, and actually can use those with a bench on this side. It doesn't interfere with the yoke thing down here. So far, it's awesome. And it feels as heavy duty as a solid half rack.
Nice. So let me go back here. Now I gotta find where the dang it was up here somewhere. There we go. Hide that. To go back to the collaboration thing, the thing I make a big deal about this because I think that we conflate home gym content with just product reviews. Whereas I come from the standpoint of believing that something is home gym content if it's fitness content that happens in a home gym, right? And I say that because if it's content that's happening in a public gym, they don't say, well, that's not gym content because they don't talk about memberships, right? They're just talking about working out and the environment. And that's why I think it's a big deal, because when I started my home gym journey over 20 years ago, I was looking for information about how to navigate the logistics of training in a home gym space, like something as simple as, hey, I've got to do these 5 exercises. Should I superset this one? What do you think about supersetting this or this? I know from a muscular, like from a physique standpoint or whatever, maybe it may not make sense, but logistically, maybe it makes sense. So for, let's say, for example, it may not make sense to superset, say, incline bench and incline curls. But if I've got to do both of them in the same workout, and I'm short on time because I got to go to work afterwards, hey, the bench is already at an incline. So now I just got to put 2 sets of dumbbells, right? Do this, or maybe I put the dumbbells here and I'm benching in the rack, bench, sit, and then let go of the rack the bar, grab the dumbbells, do my curls right there. Maybe it makes sense to some people, maybe it doesn't, because some people like to do triceps, like chest and triceps on one day, back and biceps a different day, if that's kind of how they're training, whatever, or they have a push day and a pull day or whatever you want to say. But I'm just saying, in the terms of saving time logistically, that's something that another home gym owner would be like, yeah, well, what I do is, because I've got this square footage, you know what I mean? And there really weren't a lot of people talking about that. And I don't think that enough people are talking about stuff like that now, because home gym content tends to be, okay, should you buy this thing? Well, what if you've already got the rack that you want? It may be interesting to you to see a review of another rack, but how does that help you with tonight's workout? How does that help you with tomorrow morning's training session?
Yeah.
How does that motivate you to go in the basement, or, okay, let's say it's cold, go out into the garage and get it done, even though it's uncomfortable out there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think you probably know this too, John, much as anybody. It's like, the reviews are something that's, I don't say they're low hanging fruit. For me, they're always fun, and that's what makes me want to do them. And like you said, going back to a point too, I kind of hate I shouldn't say hate, because I don't judge anyone from doing it. And actually, a review coming up might be kind of like this, and people will see why when they see the video. But I don't like just setting up a machine and then just, let's zoom in on the bolts and, well, here's what it does, and then that's it. I mean, that's to me, it's like, you know, how you get stuff like this sent to you ads all the time. But when I review something, it's always kind of a fun thing to do where it's like, oh, it's fun to set it up. Then I get to kind of mess around with it. Then I get to share with other people. Because me, the big thing is I tell people, even if outside of doing this stuff, I'm one of those people that, like, if you're sitting and watching a movie or something with it, I have to catch you up to speed. I'll pause the thing. I'll make sure everyone's, you know, knows the same thing. So a lot of it's just, I love to kind of share information with people. And so home gym reviews, it's kind of, or equipment reviews, it's low. I say low hanging fruit because it kind of seems like it's serving everybody in the sense that I have fun doing it. I have fun doing a bunch of B-roll footage. People watch my videos and try to do a lot of stuff. It's relatively a lot of stuff to kind of do a bunch of stuff. They can see me actually using it. Talk about the things I like and dislike as honest as possible, or I'm totally honest as much as I can. I say as much as I can. We can get into that here in a second. But at the same time, it also, those seem to attract a lot more views. That's what gets in the nuts and bolts of it. People seem to like that. And so some people say, well, do less reviews, do more of that. It seems like I would love to do more of that content you're talking about. I just don't know if the algorithm and stuff like that really supports that. So at the end of the day, I'm not trying to just, you know, you're trying to strive for views. If that was the case, we wouldn't even be doing home gym stuff because there's many other things we can get into if you just want to make YouTube content. But it just seems to be that's what people want to see. So I do more of that. But I always say I'll stop the reviews, which I think they're slowly going to start slowing down when I stop seeing equipment come in that I think is interesting. So I will do follow-ups. I actually got a bunch of other follow-up stuff coming up on the channel. If people watch the channel, they know I don't just do reviews. I try and mix it up with content related to all sorts of stuff that's, I think, niche to the channel somewhat. But I think it's just tempting because, especially from obviously the monetary standpoint, so you have an affiliate link and that obviously helps serve the channel versus if you're just doing a some sort of like tip review that there's not really a financial incentive. And I think people understand at the end of the day, like this takes time to do this stuff. We all have stuff to do and families and stuff. So
sure.
It just seems like those equipment reviews just make sense in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
You have some exciting things to kind of wrap up this whole rant here is that my goal in the future is to do a lot more focused workouts, more workouts. And not that I want to get behind like a paywall or something like that. People ask, like, you know, well, let's just do like a community of just you doing all your workouts. We film them with the equipment you have. That might be the route I'm going towards a little bit. And of course, sharing free stuff. But I think the thing is, if we just did all free stuff and free workouts, no one would see the channel. It would just go straight down, I think, because you only have a niche demographic who wants to see stuff on a squat, like a Squat Max MD workout or a lever gym workout. You know, that's just so.
Okay, so let me push back, all right? Because everybody who watches this knows that this is like one of my things, all right? So, and I was actually talking to a guy yesterday. I was on a call, and he was basically, so the thing is that when you do a review, it's a little bit reactive because the brand sends you the thing. Well, okay, I'm going to talk about this thing, you know, however long it takes for me to shoot it, whatever you contractually promise as far as when you're going to publish it, right? But if you want to do topical stuff, so let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to post a video about this topic. You have to pick topics that are kind of like popular or SEO trending, right? And so the limiter there is you can't just be sitting on the couch and like, okay, whatever. Whereas if they're sending you the thing, you don't even now, oh, I know what to do SEO research on. Boom, right? I researched this thing. But if you're trying to, like, you're sitting there like, man, what do I need to talk about this week? You know, it's almost like, I guess, if you're a pastor trying to create a sermon, you know, like, what is my sermon supposed to be about, you know? And I think that's the hard part. But I do agree, the part I'm pushing back on is I do agree that there is a market for it. It's just that it doesn't get marketed as home gym content. Because, and I've brought this guy up before. I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is my daughter. She's 9. She loves this channel because the guy has like his kids and stuff in the videos. So anyway, here we go. So this is him right here, right? Can you see how many subscribers my man has?
No, I can't see it, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah. So it's
8 million.
Yes, 8.64 million. And then on his second channel, which is just family stuff, is like another 5 million. But I'm just like, so his channel is, you wouldn't consider it a home gym channel because he doesn't do any equipment reviews. Instead, you got the forearm dumbbell workout, the biceps workout. These are his popular videos, you know. Now, it doesn't hurt that he's, you know, built the way he's built, right?
Exactly, no question.
But at the same time, it's like, I know that there is a market for it. There's another one that I always talk about, and I'll pull this one up as well, right? So this is Grow with Joe. All right. 5 million subscribers, and her channel is all workouts, right?
Yeah,
So
no question. I'll go back and say, I don't think that model is broken in any way.
It's just it takes, I think, a little bit more. It's not going to help you in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I do reviews also. So I think that you have to grow to the point where you can do it, and you have to grow to the point where you can do topical stuff. I'm just saying I don't want our community to limit ourselves to that, because to your point, you were like, I don't even feel like I'm necessarily a home gym stuff because of what I do. But so what if you decided not to go to home gym con because you're like, well, that's not really what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I just think of how many creators who create out of a home gym, but who don't consider themselves part of the home gym community, who people never get a chance to get exposed to because they won't go to something like Home Gym Con. They might go to the Arnold's, right?
Yeah.
And so as a result, we don't find out about them, So now somebody who is in a home gym, who's in the situation I was in that I mentioned when I first started a home gym, and I'm like, how do I solve this problem? This person has a solution, but I have no idea they exist because all I ever see are reviews.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's really why. I don't know if that all made sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
But yeah, you know what I mean? So
I tell people all the time, I'm influenced by you guys, so all this stuff here sometimes just because I'm having fun doing it. Like people ask me what, plans or how I, like you said, SEO stuff. There's not a whole lot of that stuff. I mean, I just think, well, it's something interesting I think is fun, I'll share it. And of course, it's something other people think is interesting, I'll also do a review or talk about those things. But I think if you look around the channel a little bit, they'll know right away, like, there are much better ways of doing it. It's really a fly-by-night operation. I tell everyone this is a, shotgun operation. There's something I want to talk about or I get in. Like I bought a couple things recently that I'm just going to review because I bought them and I want to share with people. So probably not the smartest thing to do. But yeah, I should do a little more sit down and long-term planning. There's a lot of things I have planned. It's just, you feel like you're operating.
Time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say you said that there are probably better ways to do it, but you do have Brian D said he likes your reviews. He said, because you don't waste time on a bunch of info that he can get in the product description, which always baffles me too. People will ask me questions. I was actually answering questions. This guy was sending me questions yesterday, and I was answering his questions in the comments. But he's asking me stuff that's very specific to him, right? And I'm like, well, I don't even know you. How would I possibly know how this machine would feel to you? I don't even know if we're the same height.
Yeah.
Because I can't see your picture. I just see comments, right? He's asking me like, well, if you adjust the angles of the arms with it, and I'm like, I don't mind answering your questions as best as I can, tell you how it felt to me. But some of the stuff you're asking me, you can literally click the link and just look at the product description, to Brian's point. I'm like, if you're interested, because what I always say, if you want more information, you can drop a comment or you can visit the website. The link is in the description. And most of the stuff you want to know is right there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So shout out to you. He said you also do updates after you've used the equipment. So I think that's really cool too, because there's a difference between what I think of something a lot of times when I first open the box and what I think of it after I've used it for, say, 6 months. Because sometimes, that's when the gremlins show up, right?
Yeah. No, definitely, 100%. I try and do. I mean, again, I'm telling a broken record, but when I get stuff in here, I physically can't be a garage reviewer like some of these people, a dedicated space. And I actually have to get a dumpster because I got boxes and pallets out back, so that's coming to my house. And next year, stuff I'm throwing away. That's a whole nother side story. But sometimes I get stuff in and I just can't. I have nowhere to put it. So when I get something in here, I got to think in my head. The ultimate goal at the end of the day is me. I'm just like a quest, like I'm sure you are. We're trying to build the perfect home gym, which is impossible. But I think I'm getting kind of close to hitting all the cylinders of stuff I want to see. And if I get to that point, I'll be happy to just call it quits and we're done with a lot of the main reviews. Maybe I'd update something. But that's ultimately what I'm trying to do here is find the ideal setup and then just share it with other people.
Nice. Your YouTube channel, because you were talking about it, but it's a side hustle, right? And it's tied to your coaching business. So do you ever just talk about the role that the coaching business and like how the YouTube channel and the coaching business support each other? Do you
Not a
ever
whole
want to
lot.
like,
Yeah,
like you ever want to like quit YouTube and just coach, or like
no, I
what's
mean, so I'm a professor by trade. So coach, I've always done coaching my whole life. So, but I mean, 'cause I've been a trainer since I was in my early 20s, and I've gone on to do if you name a training role I've done. So I have my own personal training business. I train personal trainers in different metro areas. That was kind of a first business I kind of had. So I've always been coaching and training in some fashion. And by the way, personal trainers I think are that's a hard gig to do. So if you have a personal trainer who's working, I call them lifers. They're, if they're above 30 and still personal training, that's hard work, really valuable work in my opinion. So I have all respect for personal trainers in the trenches. But I say it in the sense that now the coaching is really just, I call it more like, I hate the word consulting, but I'm not really physically there training people. So it's all virtual. So
nice. Okay.
that supports a little bit. And I just don't have I don't plug it that much because I really just don't have time. So literally, I think it's up there, one of the sites, but I took down the 3-month program to do it really justice because I just couldn't handle the bandwidth of just to really put full effort into organizing everyone's schedule the way I wanted to. Because when some people just give out like a template program, that's just what you do. I really want to sit down with the person and go through the ins and outs. So yeah, my website's honestly not much to look at because I got to update this. It's very kind of
look. Hey, see that right there, Matt? I know you're still watching. Bands not included.
yeah, right, yeah.
No, I mean, I like actually the simplicity of it because I'm a big fan of Dan John, and how he's always like simplifying stuff, right? He's like, look, we're making it too complicated. So I like this with the services. Like, okay, look, I offer this. I give you a form check or this, like don't come. What do you offer? No, you see these 2 programs right there? That's what I offer. Let's keep it simple because you're also not overextending yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have I think it was my guy Pete Rubish who said, when you have like these trainers and these online coaches, they've got 100 clients. He said, how much attention to detail to each client do you think they could possibly be giving? He said, because if I'm actually checking your form with each client, just think about how long that takes and how many hours there are in a day. How could I possibly give? And then I've got to write adjustments to the program based upon what I see. He said, how much attention do you think I could really pay to each client if I had a whole bunch of them like some of these people do, So I love that you're not overextending yourself because to me, that means that you're going to give better service, better value for whatever somebody pays you if they do reach out for like the form check or whatever. Since I was just on your website, let's talk about the products and this goes back to the reviews a little bit. You do have brands on your website. Are those affiliates?
Yeah, those are all affiliate links on the brand promos, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me let's go ahead and I'll pull that right here.
Even that needs to be updated. You can see I'm very proud of my website.
You're doing great, man. There you go. All right. So as I say that, so the reason why I say that is what I want to know is, even though it's not necessarily updated, is what is the process a brand has to go through? Number one, for you to say, yeah, this is for me, I can recommend it. And then number 2, I mean, obviously you have to review their product, but
yeah.
I'm not talking about reviewing that one specific product. I'm saying for you to say, oh, I've reviewed enough of this brand's products that I can say this is a good brand. And then for them to get on the website, like, hey, I feel so comfortable with them that I'm going to have my name kind of attached to them because they're on the website. You know what I mean? So talk about like, how do you vet brands like that?
Usually, I mean, the main first answer I tell everyone, and this is, like I say, it's a lot of nauseum because it's something I still hold, dear to my heart on the channel, which maybe I'll break. And it's one of the stupid things maybe I should be breaking a long time ago. I made a video about this. So nothing I do is promotional videos. So I've never done any kind of paid endorsement video. Again, nothing against that at all. I just think everything that I do has to be somewhat organic. Like I've tried it. I've actually used the stuff. And I just also think that people are just good over there. Sometimes it's the product that's awesome and the company not so good. Sometimes it's vice versa a little bit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, really, it's just me trying it out, think I like it. And also, there's some things on there. I'll give it, like, I think I just saw like the Bullworker. I don't use that thing all the time, but I do think that's a really cool, interesting tool. I'm actually going to video come up in the near future with that. That's another video that's kind of a niche thing that my audience is into, which I also am into too, as far as like, even though it's growing out of this smaller footprint, type stuff. Because my whole thing is you can get in shape with pretty much anything. And I've learned that a lot just being with people sending me their pictures and really
get in shape with nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like that's a product though where I don't use that so much. I'll use it kind of like off training, but it's enough that I think it supports the audience, and there's a like a little discount code they give me. So I kind of throw that in there too. Nice. But at the end of the day, it's got to be something that I've actually tried, had some relationship with the company with. And there's some, honestly, like that's why I said that when you put it up there, there's a lot of brands that I have not, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely some brands I've yet to just put on there because I just kind of forgot about it. So I have to do that actually.
Well, you've brought this up a couple times, so I do want to talk about it. Like, talk about your audience. Like, what's the niche that you feel like you serve, and how did you identify that niche?
For me, it was, and I've always been like this, where I say my training has always been a little unorthodox. I think because of the people that were influencing me when I was younger. So of course I go through phases of trying different things, and I've said this story a lot in the channel, where in that early 2000s was a really cool just era to be growing up in training and learning from people, where if you went to a seminar, you were learning like secret information. So you didn't know, there wasn't like YouTube, there was YouTube and forums, but even that stuff was kind of, it felt sketchy. You didn't even know what the stuff, people were just throwing out all sorts of stuff. That was bro science at its climax right there. But when you went to a seminar, now you can actually try stuff. So now like Olympic lifting was big. That was, that's because of CrossFit. CrossFit basically, to me, I saw the writing on the wall before CrossFit came. A lot of us who were in that, trying different things. You saw everyone sharing things like, well, here's rings, here's progressive calisthenics or progressive body weight, Olympic lifting, even powerlifting was something that was somewhat kind of it was popular, really talked about. And so you funnel all that stuff together. For me, my training was, I'll just try a little bit of everything. And I went through all sorts of phases. So when I had to work out from home, I dusted off the machine that I had when I was younger because of, I think it was Paul Chek, who really, everyone knows who Paul Chek is. He's a famous strength conditioning coach.
Yeah.
But he was really
one-legged squat, pistol squat on a Swiss ball.
Yeah. And I was guilty of that, which I'll stand by some things. That as goofy as that stuff was, standing on Swiss balls and squatting, I did that back in the day. So I was one of those guys, did all sorts of crazy stuff. I do think do I think it's, most people should do that or recommend it? Probably not necessary. But I will say learning those, I would say maybe athletic or tricks, whatever, for sure transferred over to things. Because people say, like, oh, how can you do it? Like the other day I did pistol squat, not the other day, but some other time. Like, how'd you do that? I kind of call them like almost like a trick. But once you kind of learn these various tricks and things, once you kind of get it and you know how to do it one or two times, you can take years off it and jump on it again. So I think there is a transfer to those learning those kind of trick weird things to learning, say, getting up and learning to surf or water ski, because you just got those little like kinesthetic awareness.
Yeah.
Went on a tangent. I think my demographic, I think, are people, which I appreciate, are people that don't necessarily want all this stuff, which I always say you don't need this stuff. They maybe want to try different things. They want things to be interesting. They're not confined in a box. And there's nothing wrong with being in this box, by the way, of just saying, I want just a squat rack and barbell. And I think that's something else we could have a whole discussion about that I think people think home gym, they always think squat rack, barbell. And my point, and I would say, especially when you get to people as they start to age, I just find most people don't have that interest of really using a barbell and squat rack. Of course, those are awesome, versatile tools. I think if there's another tool basically that gets the job done in an efficient, effective way that also you're more likely to use, that's probably the best tool. And I think that's where a lot of the audience is open to trying things that maybe other people might say is, or just traditionally thought of as like just garbage training equipment. Which, by the way, I'll wrap this up in saying, I think that now you're starting to see that turn a little bit. I think if you watch even like Garage reviews, the stuff I think he's making that U-turn. Honestly, I think they're starting to realize that these stigmas I think his channel, if you were to say something else, I'm pointing at him, but I have no idea. I'm just making an example. But if he started veering off, and then when you think you were at his climax, you had strength training, like just progressive strength training was really popular, barbell stuff. And I think that's where got him up there. But I think if you were to talk about, say something like the Total Gym, Saudi Men's Trainer, I think he would have lost some respect in that community. So I think at its core, I don't know, I think the garage gym, home gym, its core will always be free weights, I think. And I think that's awesome. But I want to show people there's also other options. And the last point, I keep saying this, I see so many people just sending me their videos or just little screenshots, my email, all these little square foot areas. And these guys are in awesome shape, just ripped, just doing simple stuff, no weights. And I think if you get the average person on the street is like, well, do I have to invest in all this super expensive equipment, or can I just get a few inexpensive things? And I'd say at the end of the day, this stuff is just here for interest. It keeps things fun and interesting, but certainly do not need all this stuff. And that's kind of where I think the audience is open to learning about stuff on the channel.
There's a bunch of things I want to unpack as we wrap this up. I promised you we'd be done by 9. I promise we're going to do it. But that means I just got to bring you back because I'm enjoying the conversation. The thing about the barbell and plates is, I think it was big because I think that goes back to CrossFit. Because Greg Glassman wrote that blog post on the CrossFit main site about the garage gym. And I think part of it was because people were complaining that CrossFit affiliate fees were too expensive. He's like, well, you can just do this at the house, you know? And he's like, well, so basically it was built around, this is buy the stuff you would need for CrossFit, which is a barbell, or what at the time it was barbell plates. And then as the CrossFit Games kept on looking for different things to put in there, then you would see like a run on, so like there was kettlebells, right? Well, then they put dumbbells in. So all of a sudden you see all the CrossFitters going out and buying dumbbells. And that's why you see so many dumbbells with the rubber coating. It's got absolutely nothing to do with making it, you know, quieter for use in a home gym, which is what they tell you. But I promise you, if I drop an 80-pound dumbbell with the rubber on it, it's still going to make noise if I drop it in my garage. And it's still going to damage. If it's not a well-made dumbbell, it's still going to damage the dumbbell, right? But what happened is they wanted to use it in the CrossFit Games. And so the kind of dumbbell that they were using had rubber coating on it because the CrossFit Games was a sponsored event. So that's what became popular. So once that is popular, you know, on Rogue, what do you think everybody else started imitating? They're like, well, that's what we're going to sell. I can't stand those dumbbells because they take up more room on your dumbbell rack, because the coating makes them that much thicker, right? Just like, and I'm an equal opportunity guy. I hate the pro style that you have to like tighten every few days with the Allen key. I hate those too, and then I also hate the cradles because again, it takes up space it reduces the amount of space available on the dumbbell rack. So me, my old style hex heads, we're happy and we don't care what you think. But nah, but I do recognize that so much of what we see is based off of trends that may have nothing to do with our personal situation. And I'm always like, look, that's why I like listening to but listening to voices from different perspectives like you, because I don't want to ever manipulate people into believing that there's only one way. Just because I love training in essentially a powerlifting style doesn't mean that that's the only way. It means that I've got specific goals that are related to the powerlifting platform. If I didn't, then I already do stuff that's, eclectic as well. If I didn't have the goals related to the powerlifting platform, I might have a gym full of nothing but kettlebells. You know what I mean? Because I think they're a great modality and I enjoy training with kettlebells. I've got the best way I can say it is I have a very Jeet Kune Do approach to training, partially because I'm a martial artist, but it just, hey, it's been 20 years plus, right? So that's the other thing, that the longer you train, the more you're willing to experiment with different things, because it frankly gets boring, to your point. But with that, you did roughly 7 months ago, you did a video on your channel where you're talking about the home gym equipment you would buy if you were starting over today. After being at Home Gym Con, did the list of things that you would buy if you were starting over today change? Like, did you see stuff at Home Gym Con like, oh, I didn't even know that existed? That might make my list of maybe that's on my wish list now. Or basically, was it just like, okay, this is just nice and I'm cool?
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, nothing against Home Gym Con at all. And I would say, for me personally, this is just what happens. Sometimes you walk by. I said this in my initial video. It's just a lot of metal stuff that nothing honestly jumped out at me. In retrospect, there's probably a lot of things there that I like. The computer is sitting on my squat max. This is something I saw for a long period of time. I got some squat max videos coming, but this would be a machine that I saw. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. I don't know if I really like it. This is one of my favorite pieces, honestly, for legs, and I would buy this over again, many times over again. So I think there's a lot of things I just don't appreciate right away. I think that's kind of normal, but I'm looking for nothing there specifically. But I can go back to you want to go back to the other question of what would I buy?
Yeah.
And just to go back, you said Jeet Kune Do. If you watch the video, I mentioned that analogy all the time. In fact, the hybrid resistance logo. I tried to think something that was Jeet Kune Do-ish, but
Yeah.
I just found that somewhere. But
it's like you use no way as way. Like
yeah,
you don't have
exactly.
limitations. Yeah.
And I think that's what people got to do. Well, if you want it, obviously nothing wrong with being a purist and stuff. We can talk martial arts too forever. It's got to be another passion we can talk about.
Man, he just talked himself into coming back on. You see that? He can't turn me down again.
Anytime, John.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, things I would buy again. I think I was going to do is I have a video actually queued up, but I almost didn't get to it. Like it was rushed too much, but on the same idea, like if I only had to pick 3 or only had to pick 5, I've done a top 5 before, but that'll probably evolve. But I would just say it does depend somewhat on, again, the individual and what you're working with. So my top 5 or top 3 right now, if I had a garage, like let's say if I was using this part of the garage, would be much different than if I had a low ceiling basement setup with a smaller footprint. So there's always kind of a context to what I would pick, which now I can go in both those if you want, or you throw me an area and I'll go one direction.
Well, I just think that, so this happened like when I was reviewing the rack I just reviewed, right? And I was nitpicking stuff, and I realized I was literally halfway through. I work off a script, right? Because I don't like to forget stuff, and I can put notes on the dry erase board. But I said the heck with it. I just make a script. It looks more professional. But anyway, I'm going through it, and I was like, you know what? I realized that I'm nitpicking a rack for beginners from the standpoint of someone who's had a home gym for over 20 years. And I was like, how much of this stuff that I'm complaining about is stuff that I would really care about if I were just starting out today? So I'm just looking at like, how, like, have you ever had moments like that where you realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not putting myself in the shoes of the viewer. I just caught myself doing a video for myself as opposed to a video for my audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I would say 2 things. Like if I were to say the response of somebody, if it was me going back in time, what would I do? Because a lot of this is like you're kind of you're putting your foot kind of in the water because you don't know if you're going to be committed or not. If you're going to be committed, then that's a whole different answer. But to go back to what you said, I have a friend, you'll see a video coming up sometime in the future about doing a review at their house. So the equipment for him, he's just getting started. So he doesn't care. I mean, any big squat rack, the quote unquote cheap ones we see on Amazon that some of us, like look down upon maybe, that to him, that's awesome. This is like unbelievable. This is never anything like it. It's much different. I was using a $100 cap squat rack that I could still be using to this day that did the job, I think, for most things. As long as you have safety bars and it can hold the bar safely in the basic positions, you got a pull-up bar, I think you're fine. I could have been fine with that, forever, as long as it didn't warp or break. So, but on the flip side, when you have the quality pieces, or I think a big thing that I'm learning personally that I would go back and tell myself is functionality versus kind of the aesthetic feel. So a good example would be like the power block dumbbells. Those hands down are very well respected adjustable dumbbells. This is personal preference, but I keep talking about my Snow dumbbells. That's an example where now I really appreciate the aesthetics of the thing or how it feels in my hand. And that's where something like Home Gym Con, this is a big plug for Home Gym Con, this is where that has immense value. That now if I were to go back again from a consumer standpoint, I would look at those pieces of like, what things do you actually want to use? So I got, whether that's benches or racks or dumbbells, there's definitely something to being in that gym space where now like you want to grab those dumbbells versus the power blocks. I didn't like it because I don't like the rubber grip. I don't like how certain exercises felt, seemed kind of blocky and wonky. So that's what goes through my head a lot when I do a lot of purchases. I'll just stop there, but that's a huge thing. Just as much as
it's like, yeah, it looks great, but would I actually use it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was the advocate. Like, well, you'll use the power blocks for adjustable dumbbells, but there is just something about. I think I apply this to everything now. So like my wife, like we had to get like new plates or silverware. I'm like, well, I want to get something that like I actually like looking at, and I want to. It sounds.
I got you.
Like, my wife made the example, like like so talking with some women about like sheets, like bedding furniture. Like people go cheap on sheets and they pay really expensive stuff for like their kids or children. I don't know what the brand was. And I'm like, why wouldn't adults do the same thing? So my point is, if I know I'm going to stick with it, I think it's worth saving up the extra money. And this extra money isn't maybe that much from like a cheap adjustable dumbbell set to more higher end to get the thing that you think, I really like this, I'm going to enjoy this thing, and that's what I'm going to save up to invest in.
I mean, and then there's also the thing too, like because Facebook Marketplace is a thing. When we started, it was Craigslist, Actually, when I started, it was not Craigslist didn't even exist yet. It was newspaper classifieds. and then we had like a thing like that at work. And of course, people were giving me all this infomercial crap that they had bought too, because they found out, oh, you work out at home? I got some exercise equipment. They give it to me, and I would take it all because I would take it to play against sports if I didn't want it, and trade it in and buy something that I did want. And what I get with that is saving up. You can buy something that's cheaper, and then so you have something to train with, and then there's nothing wrong with selling it to somebody who's they're just starting out, so they can use it. And now you use the money they pay you to help defray the cost of the thing that you wanted, you want to upgrade to or whatever. That's what I did. And I have zero problems with that approach. Let's shift gears a little bit. You've got a bunch of videos. You've mentioned a lot of them, and you said that your audience is kind of a little bit different. Have you ever had a video? What's been the most surprising video on your channel that's been like you didn't expect it to be as popular as it is? Or was there a video that you expected would be more popular and it just wasn't as popular for whatever reason?
Yeah, I know you. I can't. There are a lot of surprising ones, but there's also a lot of things. 9 times out of 10, like, and this sounds, again, if you want, and you know this too, John, I'm sure, and you're just using your own ethics. If you want to just clickbait, and I try not to use clickbait, but sometimes you kind of like, that's just reality. People are going to click on something, one of the questions, something. But you can for sure make videos that would be clickbait that people are going to click on. So I think that there is kind of a little easy out to that sometimes. I try to avoid that. Not that I'm high or mighty and like that, but my point is, usually I know when there's a video that does good, I know it's going to be good sometimes. So It's usually I can't think of one offhand that I thought was going to be good.
So you're saying you're not going to be like oiled up, spraying yourself, misting yourself on the lawn or whatever.
That's a good point. I mean, I had a lot of videos where I had like, thumbnails, the shirts off and stuff like that. And I only did that because I was literally, first I was kind of testing, I was like, well, I never do that and whatever, I'll do it. Everyone else seems to do it. And I was working out outside. So it was just sunny out. So I had my shirt off because I just sweat all over the place. And I just liked it. So I use those clips, and now I don't have as much of those because I'm not working out outside. So that was kind of organic. But at the same time, you could do, I don't know, it's just my own personal thing. Like, it's maybe some van. I mean, there's inherent vanity in fitness in general, but I try to,
Let me help you. So those are the clips that you're going to send to the hair gel sponsor. And say, I can promote. You send those. You send those thirst clips to them and say, hey, how'd you like to sponsor my channel with your hair gel?
It's the lighting.
There you go. That's
but I will say this though, John. This is something that I think me and you know too. I think, and I've had this discussion recently with some companies where they talk about products. I don't think it's as much. Of course, presentation matters and lighting and production matters to a certain extent, but I really think it's the product that sells and pushes these videos. And I think even those, again, I put all due respect to them, of course, the Garage Review channel up there, where I think a big part of, course, very skilled and talented reviewer, no question. But it's those things that people are looking to see. And let's say, again, the one that did really good for me recently was the Quantum Trainer, the QT Pro. Wow. Awesome machine. I think that video has maybe close to 70,000 views, close to that. And I knew that was going to do good because I knew in my head, no one covered it yet. People want to see it. And that was going to get a lot of views. So same thing with I would say the Garage Reviews. If you have something that's new, of course, people do use this model where you could just push out less videos, wait till the new and great thing comes out, and then push that out day one. That's kind of I don't say it's easy, but that's something where that's what you want to see, and that's what's going to happen. Versus if you're second or third down the line, or if I made plenty of Quantum Trainer videos after that, that's going to get much lower traction. So me and I think if you wanted to play the game, it would just be a matter of investing in the newest, greatest thing, talking about it. That pushes it up. If you do repeat stuff, no one's going to care,
So what I hear you say is that if I have a product like the Visp shaker and I just want my video to go viral, all I need to do is just kind of show myself drinking out of it. And then just casually, it just happened to happen right there at that timestamp spot. And then, anybody who's interested in Visp will watch this video. Got it. All right. See, that's a trained professional right there. Let me write that down. Hey, man. So you mentioned several things, but I want people to be able, as we close, to catch up with you. If they've never seen your stuff, I highly recommend it. You mentioned Total Gym. I believe in the Total Gym, and because my martial arts instructor had one, and I'm not even getting into the controversy over it. I think it's silly to have controversy over a piece of steel. But I do want people who have never seen your channel to check you out. So I'm going to run it across here. I don't know if you have an Instagram or anything like that, but please share all the different ways that people can keep up with you and hybrid resistance.
YouTube be the best way. That's where I kind of put more of my efforts into. Just again, more of it's just bandwidth, but YouTube, just hybrid resistance. You can find me there. I do have an Instagram. It's brand new. I got no friends over there, and I don't. Even though I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people can manage all that stuff. But
what's your Instagram? What's your Instagram? Tell me right now.
_resistance at Instagram.
Hybrid_resistance.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll put some stuff on there. Hybridresistance.com is just the basic website. There is a newsletter. Nothing's coming yet, but there's going to be some. I'm trying to get some very exciting things coming on the channel. That's going to be a lot of just what I'm doing in the gym. So a lot of just workouts and just things, practical questions I get all the time will be on there. So that's probably the biggest thing. But YouTube would be the biggest place to kind of stay up to date. Also, soft plug, John, before I go, collarhooks.com. Another little product before I go, because this is just literally just happened yesterday. This is the prototype, but if you check out these things, we have a version 1, version 2 just came out. This is not the prototype. The real ones are going to be like powder coated, but they are just in yesterday.
Hold on, is that your product?
Yeah, I have a business partner with me who works on it.
You should put a picture of that on your Instagram.
Yeah, I will. I'm not a good salesman, but I'm just letting people know about that. So
No. Hold on, you're moving too fast. We're trying to break news here. No, I'm serious. We didn't get a chance. We saw your hand, so now I know about your manicure. But yeah, you go. Show me the product, okay? So it's called collar
these
hook.
are really just prototypes. I mean, the prototypes are the second version too, but these things are so rock solid. You could put.
What are they for?
You can turn any 2-inch collar into basically, again, I love this product. I still use these resistance bars like the X3. Basically, turning this into any barbell can be turned into one of those things, basically.
So you hook that on the collar? I'm about to say, how does that work?
Just slide on a collar. It's ready to go. You can put a clip on the end. You can put weights on the end.
Slide it on the sleeve of the barbell.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, how do I put that on the collar?
Yeah,
okay. It's like a Chinese, what's the thing? The Chinese rings or whatever. I was like, I don't know how to get that on a collar, man.
Yeah,
okay.
I can't.
Okay, so just slide those on the right. Yeah. Okay, that looks interesting. It looks like the oh God, it looks kind. I've seen something that an older, a little bit bulkier product in the past that looks like a streamlined version of what I've seen that was used in powerlifting gyms. So that I can see that, because so the difference between what you're showing me right there is that what I've seen in the past is like those screw down collars, right?
Yeah.
And I was always like, well, if you do that, how's that might damage the sleeve of the barbell, whereas this looks like it just slides right on.
Yeah, this was meant to be totally. We had other complicated designs, but I really wanted something that was just super easy to use and just fits in all collars. Version 1 was fine. That thing's not going anywhere. If you have version 1, it's not going to really bend. But I didn't like how there was some give. This thing, all USA made, by the way, and then hand finished. This thing you're not going to bend this thing. I mean, I probably should get it somehow stress tested, but I don't even know how you would do that. But handle the biggest band, easy.
Send me two. I'll be happy to.
I'll for sure send you some, John. 100%.
Yeah, I will stress test it all over the place. And you just got your first Instagram follower right there. Bam! Look at that. See that? Look at that. Hang on. Let me do it again. See if I can make other people do it. Follow at @hybrid_resistance on Instagram. There you go. All right.
Thank you.
You see that guy that he promises he'll have at least one headshot with that hair, that exact hair right there. Mike, thanks for being here, man. I'm glad we were able to work this out, and I definitely hope that you'll come back. I wish you nothing but the best and more success with your YouTube channel. I'm a fan. Keep doing what you're doing, my man.
Likewise. Thanks so much, John. I don't know how you do it. This live show is crazy, man. And you're doing a lot of stuff over there. So
thank you.
Good work.
Try, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right, man. Later. All right. So that was my guy, Mike from Hybrid Resistance. You guys definitely want to check that out. Also, if you are just not joining the show, you want to make sure that you rewind so that you can check out Don from ADEX Clubs, because Don put out a lot of good information. He was talking about his reaction to his time at Home Gym Con, and he talked about some special stuff that you have that you can look forward to from ADEX Clubs coming up for the fall shopping season. So definitely go ahead and rewind. And if you are checking this out on audio format, the timestamps will be in the description, so you can jump exactly to the part that you want to. Same thing with if you are watching this on replay. Please drop comments about all the stuff that you guys have seen, my guests. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, make sure you are posting those in the comments, because I ask my guests to come back so that they can see your comments and they can respond to your comments as well. And definitely, we got to say shout out to the West Coast. Good morning to the West Coast. This is the Way Too Early for a Friday morning show. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. I'm John Greaves III, and this is Garage Gym Life. Way Too Early for Friday is a Garage Gym Life media production. We wanted to create something that would help you get your weekend started, give you some entertaining fitness-related content that will follow you for at least the first 3 hours of your day. We start at 6 a.m. Eastern, and we go with you all the way to 9:30-ish East Coast time. So go ahead and do that. And if you are already a subscriber, and you want to support the channel in other ways, there is one other way that you can support, and I'll tell you about it right now. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. All right, there you go, 99 cents a month, and you can support our channel, man. I appreciate it. So, see right here, we got my guy Carlos, who said that he just followed Mike on the gram. It's the recliner of rage.
It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.